Shadab, what's up? What's up? Hermano, hey, Hermano, my man, long time no see. Good to see you guys. Alrighty. I'm just gonna let everybody in. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Kai. Chinese name is Yun Yufeng, and I am the is up everybody. What's up? What's up? iPhone, Mary, Sage, Paul, great to see you. Thanks for hopping on camera. Claynor, thanks for hopping on camera. Great to see you. Shadab, what's up? What's up? Hermano, hey, Hermano, my man, long time no see. Good to see you guys. Alrighty. I'm just gonna let everybody in. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Kai. Chinese name is Yun Yufeng, and I am the head of community here at the School of Mentors. Quick fun fact about me: I was actually made in China, but there's no tariffs on me. Don't worry, and the quality is good, so we're totally chilling. Today we have a super special guest with us, and she's also, fun fact, a member here. It is the awesome and lovely Miss Laura St. John. Laura, I'm gonna turn it over to you to give everyone a quick self intro.
Hey everybody, I'm Laura St. John. I'm a celebrity mindset coach. Although I do coach celebrities, I believe that everyone's a celebrity. My whole thing is everyone's got a rock star story of, something that you've overcome and turned into some level of success. And I really help people get unstuck, see past their struggles, whatever that might be in the moment, and manifest completely different results as quickly as humanly possible. And I've really been doing this my whole life. I scaled an education company, but really looking back, I've said this, I did a previous Flip It workshop for you all. I don't know if you have met me there. I do love getting to know you all in the community. It's been such a fantastic entrepreneur group. But that Flip It workshop is inside the workshop section of the classroom area.
I'll post it here.
Oh, cool. And I might, reference that tool, especially if you haven't learned that tool yet, because that's a great tool and workshop that I've created. But I've done this for many, many years. I have a unique knack of helping people unstuck themselves out of all kinds of fears and self-doubts. It originally started for the athletic world as I was working with my niece, and then it transitioned into working with other elite kid athletes. And then I realized that I didn't want to just hold myself back and only working with kid elite athletes. Anyone deserves to get unstuck out of anything. So whether it's homeless or millionaires looking to sell a unicorn company, or it's just been a phenomenal level of growth for me, very organically. This is 100% my purpose. I stepped into it organically by helping family members and friends originally, but I have a kind of a unique perspective of making it very simple. And the simplification and practicality of my mindset tools helps shift results quickly. So when I, on TikTok or Instagram or different places and people meet me or see results sometimes within 24 hours, I'm like, you were ready. I just help you light up something inside of you that was blocking you, and, give yourself the credit that it was you all along. This is just kind of my specialty. So I don't know, not much to say more about me. I think the workshop and even answering your questions about helping you get unstuck in money blocks will speak for themselves, because I have a lot of just work I've done in this area with a lot of people from all different levels, all different backgrounds, and it's so fun. So, it's really, really fun. So yeah, nice to meet you all. I'm so glad you're here. And you can start posting some questions in the chat. I did start in the community the other day, a little chat in the discussion area saying, what are your questions? And they're all going to be covered. So I would rather just get right to, if this is new to you, this is my background. Literally, I'm like, what would be a background of abundance? And for me, it's the beauty of nature and stuff. So my husband and I built this
I love it.
for 2025. Kai, did you want to say anything else?
Yes, I also wanted to chime in. Laura is being very, very humble. Her niece is Livy Dunn, and Laura helped her go to the Olympics and beyond, helped her manifest that. Last time Laura and I were having a chat, she was actually going to go help some homeless people get out of that, or help them improve their situation. So really inspiring person, and definitely knows what she's talking about. So Laura, I'm super stoked for this. You guys ready? Let's go.
Thank you so much, Kai. I was just telling Kai that I just joined TikTok yesterday. He's like, I'm going to be 50 almost club, because I'll be 50 in January. And he was like, ha, you do not look like almost 50. And I'm just like, this is that you brought up Libby. I'm like, we kind of, she looks more like me than her mom, my sister. And it was really me trying to be like, I want to stay young at heart. It's happiness. And I'm going to talk about happiness because it opens up the floodgates of abundance. So thank you, Kai, for bringing that up. It's always fun. All right. I've got paper and a pen, because I'm going to drop the top 6 money blocks that I have seen most consistently. And there's more than 6, but maybe some will also come out in the Q&A and other things. But I just figured I'd rise up the top 6 that sometimes people have that they don't even realize that they have until, we shed some awareness on this. And I just wrote them down literally on index cards and as my speaking point, so we could just get right to work. So let's do one. All right, let's pick this one up. Do you run and hide from money conversations? Did you ever stuffed a bill in a drawer wishing it didn't live there? If avoidance energy, if you're in any kind of avoidance energy that has to do with money, all avoidance magnifies fear. And all fear creates block. So no matter where you're at, if you're not facing something with empowerment, then you're in disempowerment, you're in fear. And this is just a really simple one, because I know years ago when I didn't know how I was going to make ends meet, I would just stuff my bills in a drawer and close them and pretend like they didn't exist. And that was definitely not an empowering way. So it's one of those things that if you do feel like you are running and hiding, just this workshop's going to bring to light a facing of these fears or doubts or blocks that they have around money. Because if money is not neutral to you, do we have feedback?
Hey guys, can you all please mute yourself? All right, cool.
Thanks.
Yeah.
If money is not neutral, then it's likely has a hold over you, and it's likely based on fear. So these next blocks are really to kind of I just write down one at a time. Do I ever feel like I'm running or hiding from money, from bills, from this conversation, versus facing it, versus making the call, versus pulling it out and figuring it out, right? You want to be in solutions-based energy. So that's just to open it up. That's a common one when you feel like you don't have all these other things. The second one is that it's a measurement of your self-worth. That if you are only measuring yourself by how much money you have, you're really shortchanging yourself. And it's often that people feel like I will have made it when I have this in my bank account. And if I'm not there, then I'm holding myself apart from this club, this identity that I want to hold of myself. And I'm telling you that if you don't measure your success in other ways, you're actually blocking abundance to come to you as a magnet, because money is just, the energy of abundance, which is the energy of trust that I'm going to talk about in my final point, because when you're in trust, you are in complete alignment to everything that exists. So do you measure yourself based on what's in your bank account? I'm just going to ask everyone to mute themselves again, or if you have a mute all,
I got a mute all.
Unmute myself.
I got a mute all.
You have a mute all.
Boom. I just exerted my mute all power, and now I'm going to ask Laura to unmute. Don't worry, I got you. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. I got to unspotlight you first, I think, and then I can ask you to unmute. All right, cool. Here we go. Ask to mute.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
And now you can respotlight me. Thank you. All right.
Got you.
how else do you measure success? I have what I call in my coaching a success pie tool. And I originally built this for my niece because she was only measuring herself based on what the coaches were telling her or how many fans she had. Now she has millions, but it's just like, if you are only measuring yourself in one dimension, I always tell people you're not flat, you're not like a piece of paper. Stop measuring yourself in a one-dimensional way. Like, you can measure yourself. If you're not measuring yourself, when I work with people, like at least in 8 different ways to measure self-worth, you're actually limiting your capacity. You're limiting your potential. And I've worked with companies as large as Google. I was their happiness and mindset coach for a year for their AI venture team. And it's like really interesting because everyone measures success differently. And if you're only measuring it by money and dollars, you're really limiting like the multidimensionality that you can tap into when it comes to abundance and feeling abundant. So what other ways, a solution to this pretty fast is, what other ways do I measure my success? Like a healthy body, great relationships, like, I am happy throughout the day. I love to take care of my dog. Like, what is it that you can also measure, like that success to you isn't determined only by one dimension, especially if that dimension is not yet filled. So a lot of times if you're holding yourself apart from your feelings of self-worth, you're making money the external condition that like you need to have it in order to feel more self-worth. And now you've given the keys of your power to money. Right? You've handed your self-worth to something outside of you that's a dollar amount, and that trickles into other things where you start looking to the achievement, to the accomplishment. Not that those aren't important, but if you're not finding the satisfaction and fulfillment in the ride and who you're becoming as you get there and feeling all kinds of dimensions of success in the ride, the journey to that top, you'll get there. And believe me, I've lived in Malibu. Like, there's a lot of billionaires all around me, and like I have seen one of my best friends years ago, she sold her huge gym company, Equinox, for many millions of dollars, and she speaks about this quite honestly. And she's like, I thought I'd feel all these feelings. I was attaching even this multi-million dollar deal to a lot of worth, a lot of like, I will grow this baby, I'll sell it off, like it'll be all that, versus truly who she was as a human. So this is a big thing about, where do you attribute success? Are you waiting to attribute success to the external or to only one dimension? Because if you start feeling it throughout the day and fueling it in all the other things, all the 7 other areas of your life, and I have like a whole lesson just on this one point, you're more attractive to money. Money's like, oh, clearly she feels abundant. Like, I literally put abundance wherever. I'm like, what would I do? Like, I just love nature. Okay, let me bring it even right into my office. Right. So you start filling your day differently if you don't live inside that block. So it should be a big zing, or I call it a ding, ding, ding moment, ding, ding, ding. Okay? And on Zoom, the ding it gets blocked out. We get no sound. I'm literally dinging this, by the way, on this. And my husband's a fitness trainer, and it's the same thing with body image. And do you love yourself? And like, he trains like Victoria's Secret models, like he trains like the purses, like James Purse, like the fashion designer. I'm with all these people, and it's so interesting. It's the same idea with self-worth. It's like, you could literally be in the most beautiful body, but not feel your worth. And a lot of people do this with money. You see someone who has like what society would not feel like is in shape, like crushing it, like walking down the beach, like 100% confident, feeling their worth. And other people that look beautiful who are like not feeling their worth. And the reason I'm bringing this up in another angle is because if you're not feeling your worth in some area, you may be blocking it in money. Right? And everything's at the end of the day is how you feel is what you attract. So if you're feeling not worthy, and then you're measuring yourself or you're measuring like your body image, that oozes. As a mindset coach to elite like levels of athletes and companies and like, all these things, it's like this mental game, how your brain is blocking you from feeling something like self-worth, and then measuring yourself in a very like small, limited way has to stop if you want to attract more. So I hope this is a good little ding, ding, ding of awareness of, oh my goodness, I'm doing that. I'm waiting for the next like career level. I'm waiting for that my bank account to hit this number. Then I'll feel. And I'm like, no, feel it. Then you'll get there faster. You have to feel it first. You have to boost that self-worth in all other areas, like I said, but it comes first. The feeling comes first. When I do big workshops, like at huge companies, I'm always like, success is a feeling before it's a thing. Don't wait for the thing to get to the feeling. That is the opposite of manifesting. Do you want to get new results faster? Every path already exists there. Are you lining up to it? You will not line up to it when you're beating yourself up because you're not feeling worthy or deserving, because you're tying and measuring yourself and you're attributing your success to some external thing. You will get there and you'll flex happiness and success for 10 minutes, maybe 10 days, maybe at most 10 months. And then I see even celebrities and stuff completely implode and then find me because they realize like I didn't do the internal work of feeling worthy, feeling success. And I was placing it on these pedestals or external things. And now I have these things and I'm not feeling these feelings. And I'm like, yes, that's the point here. So make sure you could actually like draw out a pie, and maybe this is a deep 1-hour lesson. Like, you could draw a pie and money should be one piece of it. And you want to fill each slice of self-worth. I call it the success pie. And I train people and companies on how are you measuring yourself? How are you measuring your self-worth? And is it only in one external thing? Like, let's work on the other things. And that pie slice will automatically fill. It's huge. Okay, that's so number 1, don't run and hide. Number 2, stop making it conditional on your self-worth. Stop tethering yourself that that you're waiting to make it. That's not true. You can be making it at all different levels. Number 3, oh, this is a big one. So we're gonna talk about this one for a little. And I can't wait to answer your questions. Number 3 is inherited old thoughts. I look at old thoughts as a mindset coach. I challenge all my thoughts that like hit negative in my body, right? That activate something negative. Inherited old thoughts are like a hand-me-down sweater that you no longer want to wear that has like holes in it. So every time you think an old thought that you heard from someone, imagine yourself wearing an old sweater that deserves to be recycled that literally has like holes in it, because I see everything visually, which is why I can help people get unstuck really fast. But I'm going to just list a few and let me know if you have any of these. Okay. And I'm going to give you what to say to yourself, because how do you get unstuck? Unstuck is a feeling. That's my job. How do I help people feel the feeling of unstuck, which is freedom in your heart, trust, confidence, happiness, all these things that are unlimited in abundance in your heart, by unblocking what's blocking your ability to access the truth of who you are, which is abundant and unlimited. So inherited thoughts, like the old hand-me-down sweater. Let me know if you're wearing any of these sweaters. Guilt. Do you feel guilt? Guilty for spending, guilty for indulging, like guilt around wanting more. Do you feel guilt? Because if guilt is tied to money, money's not welcome in your area. Okay? Guilt is from a consciousness perspective. Like, scientists on a kinesiology level have measured guilt in the human body, and it is shame, it is self-rejection, it is the cutting off of love to you from you. When you're in guilt, you are tethering yourself to something old news. So if you're even feeling guilty right now about a past mistake, guilty about like I shouldn't have spent that money on that, guilty of like, oh, I shouldn't have stayed in that job so longer, guilty for what you ate last night, guilty for putting your feet up, guilt of like, I'm so off track. Guilt is a feeling, and you're basing it on your past decisions. So when you have guilt, and everyone knows guilt, me included, everyone knows guilt. Guilt is like, it's a sneaky, it slides through the door and it shows up. and it tethers and it holds you down. It's a numbing energy. It's actually very heavy. When people hold guilt for a long time, they usually like are carrying a lot of weight, like they're tethering themselves to their past stresses. I've helped a lot of people through a lot of things like this. But guilt, if you tie guilt in a story in your mind based on an inherited thought that like that again, guilty for wanting more, like money doesn't grow on trees, who do you think you are? Like that kind of thing. Let me know if you have any of these. Because if your money again and guilt are in the same room, like money's neutral. Money does not have characteristics. People have characteristics. If we give money the characteristic of guilt with a story, you are blocking it because, like I said, on a kinesiology science level, like if we were to measure how much power or force is like Dr. David Hawkins' work, power versus force running through your body, being a magnet to what you want, guilt is a huge blocker. And like I said earlier, with like running and hiding energy or self-worth energy, if you're in the energy of it, because again, you're micromanaging everything you eat, like you're guilty about like stepping on the scale, you're guilty about like whatever, like the scale said this morning, wherever it's showing up, whether it's an old inherited thought or just a feeling that you have constantly, that all these things require a shift in your thinking because you are on a path towards self-acceptance and trusting yourself, trusting you're exactly where you're meant to be in this moment, trusting you're still becoming who you're meant to become, which is to, accept yourself, not guilt yourself. So let me know if you're wearing the guilt sweater. That should have a lot of holes in it because guilt is really uncomfortable, as it should be. It's showing you something that's the lowest level of rejection. So yeah, I love the chat. If you're like, oh my God, that's me. Like I'm totally in guilt. Like she's describing me. I can't even put my feet up. That used to be me, by the way. I used to be like, I can't put my feet up. Like I'm more St. John. I got 3 boys. I have an almost 21-year-old, 19-year-old, and 15-year-old. Like I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to hit this to-do list. I got to do this in my business. I got to answer 10 more emails. That to-do list is always waiting for you. Always. So if you can't ever relax and self-accept and like shift out of the guilt around all these things, but especially the guilt for wanting more, the guilt for spending, this guilt for indulging, you got to rewrite that story big time with me. Okay, these are all things that I have tools for in all my mindset courses and classes. This workshop first is to just bring to light like what you might be not even realizing. Like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize that like being guilty about what I ate or putting my feet up actually was blocking abundance. It is. That is not an energy of like that. If you are not broadcasting a signal of I am worthy of receiving so much right now, like come to me. Unconditional love and like connecting to that level is not cutting love off to you from you through guilt. So if you're feeling that throughout your day, like I hope you hear a little Laura on your shoulder with a little ding 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 bell being like, this is a moment, ding ding, flip it. I do not want to feel like I'm projecting myself. I want to feel like I'm accepting myself. I'm ready to step into what's next for me. This was an old story. I'm ready to throw the sweater out. Okay, so that's one of inherited thought. Another one is that it's like money's evil, like that people do bad things with money. Bad people do bad things with or without money. Good people do good things with or without money. If you're tying your identity to like because someone said to you or you said to you, like, oh, those are those people. They have that kind of money. That's what they do with that. Oh, they must have money. They do that. You are choosing to, again, broadcast a signal of like, I don't want to be in the bucket of that identity. I better separate myself from them. And that's going to, keep you very far from getting more abundance. Okay, very far. So do you feel like money's evil, like it's a villain and that it ties people to an identity? Because like I said earlier, money has no characteristics. It is neutral. So if you're feeding it a characteristic and you are making it like not freedom and like you're making it guilt or you're making it, bad, evil, you're not seeing that money, funds amazing charities, builds wells, where water doesn't exist. Like you're not seeing it as a tool that it is. And you will continue through your language and beliefs, separate yourself from it. So that's a big one. It's not evil. It depends on whose hands it is in, right? Another one is that, this is a common one that maybe you saw growing up, that it cages you in. And maybe some of you are experiencing this right now. Money cages me in to my job. My mortgage cages me in, right? If you feel like locked in, like the energy of money is binding you, like not freeing you, binding you to something you don't want, let me know. Yeah, that is a huge block because so many times we're like, I can't leave my job. I can't leave my 9 to 5 to become an entrepreneur or all these things. And I'm like, all these things are valid. But if your story is like, I can't because money's driving, I'm not driving, money's driving my car. Right. And it's tying me to this mortgage that I don't want, or it's tying me to this job that I hate. If your money beliefs are wrapped into, and I put it under inherited thoughts because it might be, you might have seen that or been exposed to that your whole life. Like, oh, I hate this thing, but I'm just doing this just because of the money. So money was always shared as this like binding thing that like sucks you into something you don't want to live inside of versus like a choice. Right? I'm choosing to do this job because I'm on my way to becoming an entrepreneur. And I feel those original thoughts maybe from my parents or society saying like, I had to do this in order to do that. And the condition, like you're making it conditional and you're tying it to a condition that's binding you. So again, let me know if that's you, because if it's making you feel like it's driving, it's got your power. Money's in control then of you. It's making your decisions versus you making your decisions. And money coming along for that ride. So even just helping people, I had this guy who just came to like, I do a 2-day intensive out here in Malibu. And I just had a guy who was like, I hate my job. I want to leave this. And like, I want to do all this. And now like he's messaging me, he came in October and he's like created all this abundance, but he just messaged me that he picked up like the same job that he had hated, but it came from a choice. He's like, I totally get the flip it now. He's like, I chose to do this job because it was leading me into this. And it's such a difference whether you're this inherited thought about money and caging you in, binding you in is like, I always ask people, like, are you in a door closing like opportunity? Like, does it feel like it's closing the door and now you have to make this choice based on fear, which is again binding you into the room of that situation, that thing? Or is this a door opening, like a choosing? I'm choosing this because I see how this being here will lead me to that. And it could be the same action. You could go to the same job with a very different intent. So you can start to shift these things like in an amazing way. All these things just require a shift in your mindset, a shift in your thinking. As a mindset coach, I would be like, do you want to subscribe to that thought? Right? What feeling does that thought invoke in you? Is it freedom or is it like binding you? And again, the moment you don't see money as neutral, as I like to say, like a pen, like money is a tool, just like a pen is a tool. You could write evil messages and be really mean and write, you could write a love letter. Right? If you don't see it as something as a neutral tool and it's locking you into something you don't want, even if like it's somewhere where you have to be right now, that leads me back to trust. Like you got to trust you're exactly where you're meant to be in this moment. Even if you look outside and you see a job that's very misaligned to your heart, trust you're exactly meant to be there getting that situation so you can exactly know what you want. All right. So caged in is an inherited thought, I think, for a lot of people. Another inherited thought is that it's an uneven exchange. This is a really common thought that you may have been shown your whole life, that in order to have money, sacrifice must happen, that it can't just come to you for like that. You have to give up something. You can't possibly like, grow a business and have a flexible schedule and be home with your kids and make a ton of money. It's always it's like an if then, or it's a or. Like I can't have this and this. It's conditional. And it's an uneven exchange for you that involves sacrifice. And when you then, I've seen people who have this mindset or inherited belief. And when you see people that are like, how is this guy James getting all these millions of followers, launching this multi-whatever business? Like you feel like sometimes they're the lucky ones because you're not in the same mindset. You're like, no, he's carving a path. How does someone grow like an incredible community, like through something he loves doing, which was like interviewing these multi-billionaires and getting the real truth out of them, right? Getting them to speak up, getting them to like, answer these really fast questions and stuff that like he could feel in his heart and build something from that. You have to carve a path. So if it's a sacrifice and you're just waking up every day that I have to give up something in a sacrificial way versus, and I'm not saying like I'm a hard worker. I actually worked like 12 hours yesterday because I love it. I'm putting together all these events and like, and I'm like, because I love it. I'm speaking here right now, no expectation in return. I like love sharing these. I love doing what I do. So if that was like, if I built my life on just like sacrifice, like, no, I can run a really big company. I grew it organically over 7 figures, like, and be home with my kids. My kids are just 2 of the 3 are out golfing. And I'm like, I got to have lunch with them today, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That was my, like, I want to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner on any given day with my kids. I want to build something that I could have that level of freedom versus the sacrifice. So where are you showing up in something that like is something that the sacrifice story is a negative versus again, like I'm choosing to do this because of all this. So make it, my favorite manifesting word is and. I like totally think like I'm not thinking big enough. I'm like, I want that, and I want that, and it's and because it pushes me, it expands me. And then I'm met with amazing, not surprising things because you got to push yourself. It should never be or. If it's or, by the way, in any decisions you're making, it's this or that, you're limiting yourself. You're in a limited mindset because an or an if then is conditional and fear is conditional. You're letting fear into the equation, which is the opposite of love. Love is door opening, which is if I'm meant to have that, I'll have that and I'll be shown. The paths all exist. The truth will be revealed exactly how it's meant to because nothing needs to be cut off or cut out. Like you can expand that bounty. You are like supposed to be an example of unconditional love. Why would you cut that off by having to like think in a short-minded way or a small-minded way of that it requires me to cut something out that I know I want in my heart? So that's a common one. So, but those are inherited thoughts. The inherited thoughts of that point where guilt, that it's an evil villain, that it's like caging you in or locking you in, or that's some kind of uneven exchange, and or that it's like some kind of exclusive club. Like you might have been told growing up or whatever. Like no, we're not like those people or whatever. Like as if it's like a members only jacket. And money again does not have characteristics. It can flow to anyone of any background. And I'm not saying like believe me, like I said, like I work with homeless people, I work with billionaires. Like I treat everybody the same. And I have seen money flow in amazing ways that you might have seen on my social. Like someone just manifested $10 million. Someone just manifested $6,000. I'm just like amazing, not surprising. You can have money flow to you. Okay, so inherited thoughts that may be running in your brain, and what you need to say to yourself, if it was not even your own original thought, is you start there. You say that wasn't even my original thought. That thought came from like society. That thought came from like my dad, who probably got it from his dad. That thought came from so and so. Without blame. I'm not here to like point fingers, pass the buck, all that. It's like to take ownership of I was given the sweater I no longer wear. It's that simple. That's how you start to shift your mindset. Okay, so those are some inherited thoughts. The next one, that's a big one, is that you're tying money. This is a huge block to your happiness. OMG. I'm like the queen of happiness because happiness is not excited, even though I get excited about things. Happiness is calm and neutral. Happiness is relaxed. When I work with like an MBA superstar or like a high level like exec or anyone, I'm just like happy. Like what's on your happy list? I literally like came up with a concept called snack on happy, like chomp chomp on joy, like eat happiness, like your life depends on it. The same way you make like a fitness plan or a healthy eating plan, I make a happiness plan because happiness and flow of abundance is so tied. And yet like most people when they start working with me know what is making them unhappy. Very clear. Very, very clear, right? Most people find me when they're stuck. Like most people come across my social or see me on Netflix or whatever. Like when they're like, oh, I just saw her say that to that like celebrity or whatever. I need this person in my life because I'm stuck. Most people don't find me when they're just like, I'm like, hitting all my dreams and goals, or like, how do I get to the next level? And I love that when people do find me just ready to the next level themselves. But most people, which is why I'm doing unstuck blocks and kind of bringing these blocks to life, or just at least to light, find me when they're like, ooh, I have these blocks, right? These blocks are holding me back from my potential. So if you are making money and happiness tied, like you are putting your happiness on hold. And I have this very deep lesson. Actually, the happiness content that I have created is probably some of the most profoundly deep content. Happiness, confidence, and trust is ultimately like what I teach to move people out of doubt, anger, frustration, all the emotions, guilt, shame, any of the negatives into the positives. Because when you're happy and then you're confident, like able to draw lines, my company is strong, confident living for a reason. And then trust, the highest level. Trust is the highest level of love, of self-love. It is the highest manifestation of self-love, trust. But happiness is to me like BFS. It's like the way to get to trust, which is all abundance. The sneak tip or the hack is happiness. Because if your happiness is blocked right now, you're like, I will not let myself be happy until again the bank account says this number, or you're gonna just be overworking. And I'll never forget when I was coaching this guy at Google and he was like, now, Laura, I'm like, what? He's like, I did your happiness content. I like roll on the floor with my toddler before I go to work. He's like, the old me used to like be like, all right, honey, like I'm out of here, da, da, da. And then like maybe if he had time at the end of the day for happy would fit happy in. And a lot of times many of you are living like this and because all these blocks are tied. If you're living in guilt, you're probably really blocking your happiness because again, you're on the lowest level of feelings and you got to move yourself into something more neutral and calm, which is happy. You don't, the good news of this part is you just take out a piece of paper and you write happy list and you start writing blue sky, bird chirping. And you're like, what does this have to do with money, Laura? And I'm like, it doesn't. It has everything to do with flow. You're exactly where you're meant to be in this moment. Are you opening your eyes to that door, that conversation that could be happening? Because if you're walking around in guilt, doubt, and unhappy, or maybe even angry and frustrated, I can assure you, you are blocking abundance. So happy is one of the first places to go. So you just start writing down like what makes me happy, what puts a gentle smile on my face, just gentle smile, and it can start to open up pathways that you didn't see yesterday. So most people don't let themselves be happy, or many times people don't even know what happiness really is. Maybe they spent years being unhappy, or maybe like I have a lesson called the happiness police, where your happiness was always policed. You always had to do other things to make everybody else happy. Your teachers, your parents, like you don't even know what happy is because you're always told, like have the chicken, do this, eat that, go to college, like you're always told what to do to be happy. So this is a big one because if you're not letting happiness in as your most natural state, like I was saying to Kai, like I'm like, this is how I imagined I'd be at 50 years old. I'm almost 50, but 49 and a half. Like because I'm like happy. Happy leads to abundance. I 100% can prove that in many different cases, but I don't need to. It's just like, if you're blocking happiness, which is love, like flowing to you, through you, and then emanating out from you, and you're blocking like even happiness because you've got all these other self-doubt and anger and all these other blocks that are blocking your heart like a wall, like an armor, you are not a magnetic match to abundance. Because abundance is in alignment to trust, and trust is in alignment to unconditional love, and unconditional love flowing to you, through you, and then like you experiencing happy and exponentially experiencing it. Like I like seeing 175 people here because this is happy. This is happy on steroids for me. I'm like, this is not just me talking to Kylie on the road trip going to the homeless shelter, like having a cool combo. That was happy, but this is exponentially happy. When I had one child, I was happy. When I have 3 boys, I'm even more happy. Like happiness is love exponential. And if you're not practicing happy, like your life depends on it. I had a woman share in my Welcome and Wins call this past week in my community that like she is living in unbelievable abundance. And I'm like, you don't have to share your story, Jennifer, like with everybody, but she shares it like effortlessly now because she's so past it. And she was like, when I found you, Laura, her like dad had committed suicide, her brother was shot and killed, and her husband was having an affair with her best friend. Every reason to block happy. She had to work with her mother to get her back on her feet after her dad. She had to close her brother's estate. She had to deal with a divorce, like court situation. She said, most things don't even go to court. She had to go to court. And she was like, do you know what saved me? Know what got me started? Like to the path towards more understanding of first, like now she's in abundance and trust, but her first steps were happy. She was like, happiness from the external was clearly blocked for valid reasons. And that's why I'm never here to diminish what anyone's going through right now, ever. But if you can't get to trust, which is high levels of abundance, and you're not in confidence where you're like drawing clear boundaries around what's okay for you and what you're willing to tolerate, put your needs first, say what your speak your truth, all that stuff, start with happy. Because happy again is neutral and it's calm and it's relaxed. And to her, it was like putting comfy sweatpants on and then sitting on the couch with cozy socks. And like I just gave her, like I helped her do the happy list. And she was like I have a mother of all giveaways scholarship that I do every year. We're in it right now. So I was like, she was actually a scholarship person. And now she's living the high life of abundance. But she developed the other things first: happiness, confidence, then trust. And if you don't start in that neutral, calm place, even coming from despair, grief, hopeless, which is also very calm but suppressed. And when you flip into happiness, which is also neutral, that's an easier flip than somebody like, be excited, start saying affirmations like, I am wealthy, I am this. And I'm like, it's just gonna set up red alerts through your body of like, but I'm not yet there yet, right? You'll feel the misalignment. And like when people are just like, say these affirmations, like, no, it doesn't even align. No, for some of you, you might just have to get to happiness. But if happiness is related, back to this workshop, money, and you are putting your own happiness on hold and suggesting that when you have this money, you'll be happier, I can bust that myth right now. I've worked with thousands of people to say that is not true. You might like a luxurious lifestyle, but you're going to go to bed with the same feelings. It does not buy happiness. And I know that sounds so cliche because you'd be like, oh, nice. It's easy for you to say like living in Malibu or whatever, but it's like, no, I believe me as a mindset coach. And I've been there up and down, and tying things. Like I could share all these things because I've done all these things too. I've tied things to all these things. This is not me, just like, this is me sharing from my heart. When I thought I'd have more or feel differently or feel happier, but if I had the money, then you get the money. It's not actually tied. And most people, until you experience it, don't believe that to be true, which is fine. I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm just telling you, if you're making it conditional and you're not letting happiness in little flexes throughout your day, you'll get to that goal. Because you'll get to that goal. It'll be very A, B, like you'll get to, I'm at point A, I want to get to point B, I'm at point A, I want to get to point B, versus like, who are you? I call it point C to Z. I talked about this in my last workshop with you guys. Who's the identity of the future you that wakes up happy, has all the abundance in the world, has a relationship that worked out, has this, has that, has a car, has this, has that, but that's happy. Who's that identity of you? And if you're not living that now, you're going to get there and you're missing, when I teach a leadership course on big idea thinking. And one of the facets of it is how to stop the multiplication game and go into the exponential game. This is how I teach companies to actually go unicorn. How do I teach a company to go, for millions? I have 2 companies I'm working with right now. They're like the hundreds of millions, one in a sell for 2 billion or 4 billion. And I'm like, I love this game because it's all the same stuff. It's all the same stuff, exponential. How do you not go from multiplication, like 10x? I'm like, oh, there's plenty of people that teach 10x and stuff. I'm not here for 10x. I'm here for exponential. So who's the identity of you in ultra mega success that's happy from the moment your eyes wake up, feet hit the ground, to the moment you go to sleep at night? What's that version of you? And if you're not practicing that version of you, like I am, I practice that version of me. It emanates. If you meet me in real life, people are like, I'm 5 feet tall. People are like, I thought you were so much bigger. I'm like, that's just a lot of happy energy. I am tiny. I am actually like, it's usually when I speak at a conference or different things, people are like, you're so tiny. And I'm just like, but I'm happy. I'm happy. I don't need an external to give me any happiness. And it has led me to the most abundance. It is the biggest hack. It is the #1 flex. And I'm telling you, even when Livy was like, bigger than Olympic dream, she actually skipped the Olympics and just went to fame and fortune. So I'm like, you don't need the Olympics. Once we made her success pie, I'm like gymnastics is 1/8 of who you are. Who are you at the ultra mega success? Who's Livy Dunn? No one knew who Livy Dunn was when we created and crafted that identity. And it's happy. I love my dog. I love my boyfriend. My boyfend is probably into sports too. Yeah, he's on the desk. He's on my desk somewhere too, Mr. Paul Skeens. It's just like, this was all, it's everything is, he's a rock star in mindset. The #1, draft pick. The mindset is everything. I mean, when I work with elite athletes, it's like, this is not news. So if you're not applying this stuff into your business, if you're not walking in, I worked with like I said, the gradient team at Google. I went to their Pure 57 thing in New York City, to the companies that went exponential, viral. At the end of the day, I could like put my finger on like who was like not putting their feet up, stuck in guilt, like work, always doing the undo, fix, in the energy of lack, like constant hard work to get more done, to make up for what they weren't doing because they felt behind, all this stuff. And I'm like, no, that's a mindset that does not lead to success quickly. Versus the companies that were like, we love our team. Right? We love our team. This team dynamic rocks. I love going into work. I'm just like, that's one of the ingredients. I could feel it. I could just like intuitively feel it. So my point is that do not make money a trophy. It is a tool. It is not a trophy to happiness. It is just a tool to expand who you already are. Back to like exclusive club. That's why I'm like, if I'm a good person without money, right, which I was, like I'm going to be a good person, exponential with money. So you don't put anything on hold. You literally step into that identity. Like I was working with charities and stuff because I was like, who would be that future Laura that could literally just like have that schedule and like again breakfast, lunch, and dinner with her kids if she wanted to. Not that I want to on every given day with my teenagers, but like it's like, but if I wanted to, I could. And if I want to go work with this charity, I can. And if I want to do stuff for free, I can because I love what I do. And if I want to spend a whole lot of money and charge a whole bunch of money, like that was, you know, when I saw your questions come in our community being like, what was the pivotal thing for me? I'm like, I added a zero one day. I added a zero to my hourly rate. I went from $240 to $2,400 an hour in one decision. In one decision, because I decided like my time and my happiness was my number one commodity. And if I didn't shift something and to start building all my other things, I would be just like doing all these things that I just talked about. I'd be caged in. I'd be locked in. I can't, I don't have time. You know, it would be like, I don't have time to build all that, like in the free content, my TikToks and all this free social stuff. And believe me, you will hear the noise. I like digital marketing people being like, you give way too much for free, Laura. Like, you know, put that behind a paywall, Laura. And I was like, no, people deserve to know this information. If they want more, they'll do my courses. Like, I just trust in that. So you got to recognize like, again, back to self-worth. Like I was like, I'll just, I mean, I saw results. Like I could have multiple zeros now based on how fast people get results. So, but it's not tied to my self-worth. At the end of the day, I don't even question it. People come out, they meet me, they're like, I would have spent that. And I'm just like, wow, I could even charge that much more. So it's like, it's not tied. The moment you feel it's tied to your self-worth, you're back at number 2. It's not measured. It's not a measurement of worth. Especially if you know that you get people results and you get results quicker. And what used to take me, I mean, I used to speak to Liddy 15 minutes for like a night for many, many years to develop the curriculum. And what used to take me, you know, 6 months or even a year, I can do in like hours because I've just gotten good at what I do. So you just have to recognize that if you're caging yourself in and like tying something to happiness versus being like, no, I am just going to create something because this is what would make me happy. Like my Malibu retreats, I was like, I have a vision where I just actually walk right outside of my house and I see an ocean view and there's people on like right there at a table because that would make me happy. Right. But do you know how I got to Malibu, Laura? Sipping coffee in my Denver apartment, Laura, being like, who's that, Laura? Who's that Laura that has all that? How do I become that Laura? Well, I'm stuffing 3 kids in a 2-bedroom apartment into one of the 2 bedrooms. Who's life on vacay, Laura? Right? Who's happy and relaxed, Laura? So happiness is happy and relaxed. I had to become that this version of me that you see today. You got to wait for reality to catch up. But so much has to do with your happiness. I started being like as happy as humanly possible, started building my happy list, all my happiness content, and started practicing it because I'm like, that Laura, she's happy. How do I get to that happy Laura? I better find her right now in this like 2-bedroom apartment in Denver. And I'd look outside, I'd play like the ocean waves, I'd like pop the pine trees into palm trees. I would see past my current reality. So if you are stuck in unhappy, you can write down my definition of stuck, which is my inability to see past my current moment. That's all stuck is. Stuck is your inability to see past the current moment. That's all. That's all. And it has so much to do with time. I'm actually in my community, I'm teaching about how time, like a whole lesson on time, because if it's going to lead me to the last one, and I'll round out the hour and we'll launch into Q&A, which is going to get really, really juicy, really, really fast because Q&A is the best. The last one that I want to talk about, besides I love talking about happiness, is this one's the most powerful. This number 1 block is the block of all blocks, which is not enough. Simply, I don't have enough money. I don't have enough ever. Getting it and spending it doesn't feel good. Even saving it and spending it on bills doesn't feel good. So no matter whether I'm spending it or I'm even saving it, I'm in the energy of I don't have enough. Okay, this is pretty much everybody who's feeling not enough, which is why you're here, right? To create more. So when you're in the not enough energy, not only does spending, like anything you do in an action with money, is giving the not enough feeling more momentum. Because like I'm saying, like you're actually trying to even save it and you're like, oh, that I just got even a paycheck and it's still not enough. And you're putting it in. So that momentum you're creating, because energy, like the emotion plus action creates momentum. So now you're adding momentum to lack, because all not enough energy equals lack. Lack is the energy of doubt. Doubt is the opposite of trust. Okay? I'm going to just kind of go through this again because this is probably a huge ding, ding, ding. If you never get out of never enough, it is lighting up. I'm not enough, which is the number 1 block. And it's what I've built my entire curriculum around, which is happy, confidence, and trust. Because what I noticed, just like I shared earlier, is that when people are in not enough energy, like saving for a rainy day, like saving for like even like saving or doing something, you're fostering a relationship with money that is based on fear and not trust. Ding, ding, and ding. If you are fostering a relationship with money based on fear, because fear is doubt, and doubt is lack, and lack is not enough, just to go in the other direction. These are all an emotional tie. But when you're in the not enough energy, what are the matching thoughts? I don't know what to do next. What should I do? Which path should I take? Let me look outside of me for the answer. Let me feel jealousy because now I'm in a lens of lack. How are they doing it and I'm not doing it? How come they're like that and I'm not? What's wrong with me? Those are the thoughts that match that emotion. So if you're living in there, okay, and I have tools again how to do all this. This is a huge ding, ding, ding that not enough energy, just like self-worth and just like guilt, is very tied probably to, it probably didn't start with money, which is like the hugest ding, ding. And you thinking you need money to feel more than enough, maybe your biggest block. Huger ding, ding, ding. Huger, even if that's a word. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, mind blowing. When I teach people actually how to manifest more money by sidestepping money, because money is resistance. It's a block. It's everything that I just described in the last hour. And you think the solution is money, I am here to show you, you can get to it a lot faster. The mere thought that money is going to help you feel more than enough is probably your biggest block. Because you're then seeing it one-dimensional, back to the success pie. You're seeing it in a limited way. Money's not limited. It can literally flow to you in many different ways. And if you think it's the solution that's going to fill everything else, you're probably really shortchanging yourself. You're probably a high achiever. You're probably a go-getter. And you're probably really good at like, it's this way. And you're probably really not so good when a curveball comes, because you might even be like, I'm at point A, I'm going to get to point B. This is my work. And this is how I'm going to do it. And then boom, life throws you a curveball. And then you're like, oh, I totally thought it was this. And either you go back to the drawing board or you may kick yourself while you're down. I don't know what you do when you're in doubt and you're doubting yourself, but it is going to spin you in the, what I call a down spiral, over and over and over again. If you are sick and tired, let me know, because usually this is like when people find me. If you are sick and tired of the same old do-overs where you're like, end of the year, I thought this 2025 or 2026 or 2024, I thought this was going to be my year. And now I'm in the same old do-overs, different job, same feeling, different this, still not enough. You have one block, your mind. It's mindset. You have to shift your thinking, because if you shift your thinking to more than enough, and you know how, you do a series of like 6 tools, right? So how do you go from not enough to more than enough? That success pie tool will get you started, because you start seeing success in a multidimensional way. But if you don't feel enough, and like when I look in the mirror, I see a mental to-do list of all the things I need to fix about myself. I never feel like good enough in a relationship. If you are doubting yourself in any area, that doubt will ooze into your bank account. It has been the most mind-blowing thing actually to me as a mindset coach, because I would see people, we own gyms for a while in Denver, Colorado, and it's why I crafted like all my courses and stuff, because I'm like, how do I help people unblock in body image? How do I people unblock in like, fear to confidence in love and relationships? How do I do it in their athletics? How do I do it in their business? How do I do it? And it was like, it was so interesting to me, because it's just like, how do you just keep shifting from not enough energy? Because that's just alignment to lack. When you, I'll just end with this and we'll open up to Q&A. When you take action from any of these blocks that I just told you in an energy to avoid the block, you are only lining yourself up to more negative. Because now you're like, I don't want to feel not enough. I'm going to send 100 emails today. And you're like, I don't get it. How is this person doing the same blueprint and sending 10 emails and they're getting success using even the same like template? Like I have worked in digital communities and stuff where people are like, I don't get it. Why is this person having ultra mega success? And like, I'm following the same path and not. And I'm like, mindset. How do the top elite athletes like get to the top elite athletes? Mindset. So I'm just bringing this one to light because I know personally when I was in doubt in other areas of my life, in my body image, in relationship stuff, in friendship stuff, it clearly showed up in my bank account. And when I built what I've built now, which is a complete curriculum on how do you trust? Where are you making trust conditional on external behaviors? Where are you making trust in your life, like trusting the process? Trust you deserve it. Trust you can change your thoughts. Trust that you're exactly where you're meant to be, even if you're looking out into something that feels, again, very misaligned to where you want to be. If you do not like live in the energy of trust, confidence, and happiness, you are not lining yourself up to the most positive trajectory that is available to you. It is available to you right now. When you trust, you are literally opening the door to like your God-given abilities to create. You're like handed paths. You're like handed stuff. And if you're not, you're cutting it off. You're literally cutting it off. So at the end of the day, like I have a lesson called Trust Bucket, and it's how to fill a bucket of trust all day long. Because if you're not, you're filling your doubt bucket. And you will keep taking action and rewiring your brain to doubt and lack and fighting against it and working harder to get away from it. And when you start any action based in that doubt and based in that fear, you're getting yourself right back into it. And it's so annoying because even the more self-aware you get, like even if you're on a journey of like learning mindset and self-awareness, like you're like a component in that, in what you're creating. You're like an active architect of what you're creating in some capacity. You're participating in the energy of lack. And so at the end of the stuff that I teach you in my 6-week course, for example, that trust bucket lesson and the alignment tools to align yourself and give yourself a mindset tune-up is not from me. It's to you from you. So I empower you with like the framework and mindset tools, just like I gave you guys the flip it tool, which is like one of my 6 signature tools. So you're rewiring your brain like with a practical hands-on tool that I made literally for 8 to 12-year-olds that I now teach companies. So I'm like, if I can teach it to an 8-year-old, I can teach it to a Fortune 500 company because it's simple. Like you're like, I'm not trusting. I'm moving from doubt. It's really huge. So when you learn to trust yourself, you are in alignment to God. You are in alignment to unconditional love. You are saying, show me the paths. They exist. They exist. I mustn't be lining up to them, or I'm receiving more challenges right now to become who I'm meant to become, to line up to the manifestations that are on the other side of this challenge. Stuck is my inability to see past this moment of struggle. That's all stuck is. And I can get unstuck by using a broader perspective that can only come from love to see past this moment. And you all have that ability in your heart. So it's a flip to move into action from what you love, what keeps you happy. Like your happy you is so tied to your purpose. Like you can feel like the love like that I love about this content ooze out of me because I love it. Like I love teaching this to people. And I've said this over and over because it lights me up. It lights me up. It levels the playing field. I can see people like manifesting all kinds of things like that because suddenly they're like, I trusted, I let go, I released, I stopped attaching myself to this path, and 10 other paths lined up. They were there all along. Who knew? So all that. And I appreciate everybody here. I love engaging with you all in the chats. And this is the only entrepreneur community that I'm actually a part of and, presenting to. So this is the only community when I share like big wins, like, we're working with my friend, Neil McDonough. Like, I've just been posting some of my big wins lately because they're like, I don't know, it's who you align yourself with is everything. So even when you do see, I don't know if you guys know, I just posted in the community about this actor, Neil, like this is just, some of our best friends that live here, even in Hollywood are just, they're gems. My point is who you surround yourself with in real life and in this community should be badass, like should be amazing, should be a reflection of who you want to be, not who you're not. So make sure you're lighting up everything in trust in yourself, trust the process, trust you're exactly where you're meant to be in this moment. Stuck is just a feeling. You are one step away from an avalanche of abundance. You have to know what your blocks are and unblock them one at a time. And I'm here. This is just step one in my 6-week course is what's blocking you. Once you know what's blocking you, like you can flip it, you can work out, you can actually do the next steps. Many of them are, you didn't even maybe know that your doubt in your body image could have been causing financial stress somewhere else. Like a lot of times people don't even know what's tied. All right, enough talk, Laura. I am going to open this up to live Q&A. Kai, can you help me or can I like call in?
I got you. I got you. Yeah. Some people have messaged me since the very beginning too. So I'm going to go in order of people that messaged me first, just to be fair. And then I'm going to bring up everyone in order of raised hands after that.
Amazing.
So this member wanted to keep their question anonymous, but I thought it was very good. So I'm going to ask it for them. The question is, I'm holding a deep belief that if I go all in on building my business, I'll end up neglecting my son. As a single mom, it often feels like I have to choose between success and being a present, loving parent. This fear comes from my own childhood. I spent long periods apart from my parents, and it was often their manager or secretary who spent time with me instead. This belief is blocking me. How can I begin to shift it?
So you're speaking about the block of like, it's conditional. I can't possibly have that and have that. So I talked a little bit about that, so I'm not gonna like rehash that, but what you really actually need to do besides look at that block that I talked about, it's ironic because I'm doing this in my community this week. I have a whole, like, what's your relationship with time? If you never feel like you have enough time, like time is your enemy, it's what you're battling. I don't have enough time to be with my son. I don't have enough time then to put into this. I don't have enough time. And time is your most, like to me, it's the most valued resource, but it feels the most limiting to you. I know I used to be that person. I used to literally be that person. So my 2 sisters called, like you'd be like, I gotta do all this, and I gotta do all that. And this is on my to-do list today. Can anyone relate, right? Because you're like, I wish there was 100 of me. You're basically SOSing if you're in that, which I'll tie back to the question. Is anyone appreciating the magnitude of what I'm doing? I'm trying to be with my son, and I'm trying to work hard and launch this business and do this and do that, and like I'm being pulled in all these directions. I'm being scattered and overwhelmed. Really? That is the energy of lack, where you're being pulled versus a relation. You have to reestablish, because that's also then not enough time for both. So it's in the not enough world, but it's also the conditional world of that block. So it's like those two blocks coming together. And like I said, all these blocks are related. You need to redesign your relationship, honestly, also with time, because if time is on your side and you go with the flow of time, and the same creator that created time created you, like if you start to literally shift your relationship with time, you will shift your relationship also with abundance. You will start to see like time. And I like literally have a course on this, because I really believe, this was my sister and I who developed content together. Like we're in this right now, what to do, like how to stop the battle against time and have time for all of the things you love, your son and the hard work, right? How to end this never ending battle, how to get more done with time. Once you realize that you can recreate a relationship with time, that it's on your side and that you can create flow, you'll start to do what I call this true balance of your energy, which is when you're with your son, like you're with your son 100%, not half-assed, not like looking at your phone, answering emails. Like you will literally, like I'm a kid, I've worked with kids, hundreds of thousands of kids. I grew up accompanied a very large, working with kids, and they are the biggest like reality check. You cannot lie to a child. So if you can give your son quality time, 5 minutes here, 15 minutes there, it is not like I have to spend 8 hours here. And then like, it's not a time thing, it's a quality thing. And when you give the people you love the best version of you in the time you have with them, that will be felt 100% by your son. And you can show your son, I'm working my butt off and I'm doing all this, but when I'm with you, I'm 100% here, because true balance is not trying to like weigh, it's getting your 100% focused energy to what's in front of you right now. And like I said, no one can detect that better than a kid. So if you can start to feel like that is like, versus like rushing to work, dropping him off, not like blasting the music and listening to his giggle, right? Like there's quality moments that you can start to build, and the more you appreciate them because you're giving it 100% of your time in the moment you're giving it, they'll grow. So that flip is all about understanding your relationship with money, those two blocks that I covered in this workshop. And I'd really highlight, if you're in my courses and stuff, do this week's content, which is all about your relationship with time, because if time is never enough, and it is the battle every day, I never have enough time, you're already in the not enough energy. You're already in alignment to not having abundance come to you. So it's a great course to do. Okay. Hope that helps. Just be with him and be with him 100%. I practice as like my 14-year-old's, probably the last one. He's turning 15. That wants me to like actually scratch his back at night. The two are like 19 and 21. I'm just like, they're like, "Ma, can you make me a sandwich?" But the youngest one, like, just side note for any parents here, even if he like is like, "Yeah, could you scratch my back?" While I'm scratching his back, I'm like, it's law of focus for me. I'm imagining him at 2 years old. I'm not imagining the email I have to answer. I'm like giving my kid 100% me. Like after this broadcast, he's waiting for me. Like we're gonna go do something, and then I'm gonna do like an encore at 5. Like I go through all the Q&As. I'm gonna give you guys a free week like to my stuff. So if you want to jump into more Q&A, I'll just give it to you today to just do for a week and have access to my content. But like we're doing that's my point, because that makes me happy. And during that hour or so that I like unplug between now and 5 Pacific, 8 East Coast time, before I hop back in and answer more questions, probably something amazing will come my way, because I'm doing something that makes me happy and balanced. Do you see how it's like all related? All right, anyway, back to Kai. Thank you so much. Good
No,
question.
Laura, I thought that was phenomenal. And if you think about it, the only time that time is not on our side is when we don't have it, as in when we're done. So every day we wake up, time is technically on our side.
And as you know, Kai, like my mom was given 2 years to live when I was 6 years old. I learned this lesson early on. She's alive today. But I was taught the power of positive mindset. And I was taught like every day that I have breath is a gift. Every day, even if it's a hard day, even if it's a struggling day. Every day that I wake up breathing is a gift. And if it's a power struggle, because you wake up in the day and you already don't have enough time and you're already in stress mode, which is tense, which is not receiving abundance, that's a block. So I hope all these things are at least bringing to light some really good context of things that you need to change. And it doesn't start with behaviors. It actually starts with mindset.
I agree 100%. Perspective shifts everything. So thank you, Laura. Next up, I'm going to bring up my man, Jasper. Jasper. Here you go.
Hi, thank you.
Hey, Jasper.
Hi. Thank you, Laura, for all of your amazing insights today, especially on the quantum model of reality, and great to meet someone involved in the Denver startup community as well. Coincidentally, I'm wearing my shirt from the Denver Startup Week.
Nice.
So my question today is, when we consciously think, feel, and act as who we want to be, how do we know that it's working?
That's where trust comes in. Trust requires no evidence. Trust requires nothing, like in terms of logic. So when you trust that you are moving in alignment with aligned positive thoughts to aligned positive emotions that you feel running through your body, with aligned behaviors and actions toward who you want to become, you can trust that those paths will be revealed to you in the exact order as they're meant to, because you're taking that first step into darkness, into faith. And you're like, this is who I am. That's no longer who I am. This is what I'm stepping into. And what I discussed earlier is, as long as you're not doing those steps in avoidant energy and like, because I hate all this, I'm going to work harder at that or become that. And I don't feel that from you. I feel that very deep intention of, I really want to create change. I'm really getting intentional about my thoughts and what I'm feeling and how they're related. They're very related. The feelings come first, by the way, and then the thoughts flow in. They can come to you in visualizations. Like now you're imagining the worst case scenario. Well, you're already feeling fear. You were feeling fear first, then the whatever popped into your brain or the thought. So what you're consciously doing is you're going about it where you're like, well, I'm going to feed myself a new thought. Like, oh, that's not even my original thought. That was an old hand-me-down sweater thought, right? Like I could feed myself a thought to access a different emotion. And then I could behave in alignment. I could take action from that very aligned mental and emotional space. That's beautiful. Now what happens, like I just talked to this amazing author who's waiting for her next like agent to call her like right before this call. And she was like, I put it out there and like now I'm waiting to hear back. And she was already sinking into doubt in that space. And I'm like, girl, you already took aligned action. Like you were feeling it. You were thinking it. You were doing it when you sent it. You hit send. Now let reality catch up. That is the game. Like if you don't wait for reality, and now you're like, now you're on to the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. You're like second guessing yourself. You're questioning your choices. Now you're gonna feel doubt. And those doubting thoughts, which align to lack, are gonna fire off. I'm not good enough. I don't know which way to go. Did I do it right? What if they reject me? Blah, 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 right? So it's all amazing what you're saying. And I'm not living in your body. Only you're living in your body. So only you know to be true what is the truth of who you are. And as long as it's aligned to your own truth, which is the integrity of who you are, and you're trusting yourself, you're trusting in alignment that you're feeling and thinking and acting in alignment towards where you want to be going, the direction, even if you're not there yet, trust then that you're doing that. And if you're off, you'll know it. you'll get wishy-washy results. Wishy-washy alignment yields wishy-washy results. And then you just can keep fine-tuning it and cleaning it up. That's what I make tools for. So you're on your path, and it's great awareness. And just disclaimer, the more aware you get, the more misaligned the misalignments are. And those are not to trigger you. Those are to have you rise above them.
Thank you so much.
Keep going, Jasper. Good job.
Awesome. Thanks, Jasper. And that's such a great point, Laura. It's like, hey, when things go south, it's telling you that you're not in alignment. So it's actually a good thing. It's like, yo, like this shit fucked up. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I live on the news right now. I live outside Los Angeles. And that's not aligned. That's not aligned to the like safety and what's okay for me right now. Does that mean my whole day has to be thrown off? No, I reach out to the people that I need to reach out to. I do my business. I care about people I need to care about, and like put positive energy out versus like and imagine a positive outcome.
I like that. Alrighty. Next up, we got Carrie, and then we'll go in order. So Carrie.
Okay. There you go. Hi. Jeez, what happened? Okay. Okay, awesome. Oh my God, I love you so much. I see you all the time on TikTok, so that's awesome. First.
On TikTok?
And yeah,
I've quite a bit, you guys.
I love it. It's so great though. Okay, so what is the best way to stay in a rhythm to create and activate wealth and also your self-worth? Now, what I've been doing is kind of like saying thank you, like certain times I'll just check in and like during the day and like when I'm walking up. Is there like a good way to like stay in the rhythm? Because I know that rhythm, that momentum of making sure that you're in wealth is and knowing you're worthy is really good.
I mean, I become my mindset tools. I literally all 6 of them. So I'll just kind of explain each of them. So when negative comes my way and that misalignment is like coming at me, the first tool that I teach in lesson 1, how to unstuck your blocks, is the free pass tool, how to not engage and not participate when it's coming at you. So that's one way I say, is that like it literally bounces off me versus triggers me. And that's a practice. That is lesson 1. I mean, it's an hour, but like I'm just giving you kind of the rundown of like, how do you do this and how do you do it for your day? I'm like, well, it doesn't mean like to live a life that's challenge free. It's what do you do and how do you respond, and do you trust your response when that trigger or challenge and misalignment comes popping into your face, when that negative person comes screaming through the door or whatever it is, right? It's like, so how do you step in and choose to participate or not participate will determine immediately whether you're gonna get thrown off track of, versus not. So that's a first tool that I teach in my course on the how, on actual how to do that, what to say. The second tool you guys learn here in this community is the flip it. So how do I flip? So when something does come and it feels misaligned, and I clearly do not want that. I do not want to like be stuck in this toxic work environment. I do not want to like, whatever you're stuck in. And you do the flip. So you give your brain, that's the next practice that I teach you guys, how do you flip your brain to see the misalignment and then see the alignment through the misalignment. It's a mindset shift. It's like I turn on the news, I see the misalignment, but I automatically see the alignment of like where I would love it to be going. Like you open up your bank account, you feel the misalignment, you're like, this isn't what I want. Like red alerts, I want commas and zeros in all the right places, right? Like that's what I want. So you have to learn to train yourself through your mindset, and that's the second lesson, which I've done here in this community, like in a nutshell. But like the deep dive of it is learning to flip the negative to positive from a trajectory perspective. Because if you just keep again taking the energy and action from the negative, you'll just get more negative. And everyone knows that. You're like, oh shoot, a do-over, right? So that's the next practice. And that requires just, your attention to what's misaligned and aligned so you know where to engage. That's a practice. And then the third practice that I touched upon in this workshop is happiness. I snack on happy 6 times a day at minimum. I have a happy list around me. Like I've literally built a life around my happy list, and happiness is so calm and neutral, and it's so my state of being now. But that took practice, and that's flow. So that's another thing that you'll like, through, these are all like when people have asked me in the community, how do you rewire your brain? I'm like, this is how, because in order to step into the flipped life of the positive side, your first step in that door is happiness. And then I have these really groundbreaking tools that like people like totally cry when they learn, because they've never heard it explained as simple and like profoundly as I do it for the alignment tools to your future self. I have a 4-quadrant alignment tool, and I have like your future self cards and different templates that I've built to align yourself to that, whatever that ultra mega success is to you. That's not just point A to B, but like a whole other level that you might not even like be bringing yourself to. And when you align yourself to the future you, and you go about your day as that version of you, and you practice that version because you know how to, because you're working the opposite when it's the negatives thrown your way. But when you practice like the day in the life, the 4-quadrant tool, like my future tools, like kind of the next level, once you do the first 3 to 4 lessons, then you do those things that round out like lessons 4, 5, 6. Ending in trust, because ultimately your wealth has 100% to do with your energy of trust. Trust is not knowing all the answers. It is the opposite. It is in the face of not knowing all the answers. I trust this positive outcome awaits, and I'm going for it, and I'm taking the step, and I don't need the evidence, and I will take the step, and the path is there. That is not most people's natural state. Most people's natural state is trust is conditional. When you behave this way, then I'll grant you trust. Until you behave this way, and now I'll police your line because I can't trust you. And that's not trust. That is conditions and threats. And most people don't actually fully, like now that I really teach trust, what I've noticed is most people don't really get trust. They make trust a currency that you can give or take or receive or earn. And I'm like, that's not trust. That'll be like, I think that'll be one of my deepest lessons that I'll always be known for decades from now, is how I teach trust. Most of society has it completely backwards and goes to seek it from the person who broke it. So what I'm saying is so ultra deep, which is why, when I was building my stuff in terms of like my content and things, one of the things I really realized in helping people remove self-doubt, it wasn't just like manifest your dream life course. It was this, it's unstuck your blocks. It's like, you might think it's in money, but what if it's in love and relationships? That not enough feeling. What if the love and relationships is where you're stuck on trust because you've been betrayed or something else? And you're like, I can't. So my point is that you ask a very great question of how I practice this throughout my day. And I'm more like, you are trust, you are unconditional love. What's blocking it?
Yeah, no, I definitely understand.
If you don't unblock those things, and especially if you know the source, you're like, oh, it's religion, oh, it's my body image, oh, it's this. Like, and you don't know how to quickly practice the unblocking. It's way more about unblocking than it is about, because you'll automatically be aligned to it because you are it.
I've been doing, and I drop it all over the place on TikTok and everything, to say, I love you 100 times a day to yourself, to start boosting that. So I'll put a reminder up on a thing and say, hey, this is your reminder to say I love you 100 times a day, and I'll journal it myself and I'll show people I'm doing work. So I feel like that's where my last completion is, like just really diving into the love.
And for anyone here who's really hard on themselves, and like rejection is your easiest place to go, self-criticism is your easiest place to go, beating yourself up and all that, and something like that is a great first step to alignment, to more love, like the words. But it's ultimately the feeling of it's the feeling. If you're doing it and saying it 100 times because you feel like you're not, you're still going to be coming from lack. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's why, like, if once you do the quadrant tool, for example, you'll know very quickly where's the misalignment here, because I could say I'm wealthy 100 times, but if everything inside me, and it worked for my neighbor and it worked for my friend, why is it not working for me? Like, you could say the words because the words carry meaning and, you know, their own frequency and all that stuff, but it's how you feel always. And if you're blocking it, like, you have an unlimited amount of trust and love and happiness in your heart right now. You're already aligned, but it's being blocked by anything negative. And that's the challenge. How do you unblock it? So that's why, you know, you can find what's right for you, and it might not work for someone else.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Carrie, I love that. That was a great question. I want to chime in super fast, real quick for me. I always have mantras that I can use. And as Laura said, it's not about the words. It's about the feelings that these mantras give me. It's about the energetic state that these mantras put me in. And I think gratitude is always a good one, because if you're grateful for the good and the bad, well, gratitude attracts more to you what you're grateful for, and it instantly switches you from victim mentality to learner mentality. So like, if I'm grateful for this challenging situation, it switches me to that learner mode automatically and helps me keep the positive momentum going. But yeah, I want to share that real quick, and let's keep it moving. So thanks, Carrie. Alrighty. Now, that was pretty much everybody who messaged me. I'm just going to go in order. So Allie.
And I'm just posting the free week. I'm sorry. And there, it's, you decide if you want to. I think that should work. You know, this does not exist anywhere. I literally built this like an hour before. I'm just like, let's just check out the content, jump right into like my highest level. You'll be in all the different things. You'll get invite. You'll see the workshop. Actually, I'll just post the workshop. It's free. It's open to the public.
Laura, thank you so much, guys. This is an amazing resource. Laura's letting us check out her stuff for free for a week, which is an incredible give. Thank you, Laura. I know so much is going to come back to you. And guys, definitely take advantage of that. I mean, Laura's helped so many people, so check that out.
Yeah. So there's the workshop, the little webinar jam from More Q&A at 5, because I can answer questions for a little bit longer, and then the free week. And you guys decide. You can always cancel. I mean, just dive in and like just take a look at and spin around all the content. See what's blocking you. Go ahead, Allie.
Okay, so I feel like I need help with my mental block. Like, maybe you can recognize it for me. And so my question was, what do we do when we feel like the people closest to us are the ones with the mental blocks? Like, they're the ones who are unhappy. They seem to steal our happy, or even steal our ability to be productive towards things. And how do we engage in these relationships without leaving? Like, I need to be present. Like you said, your mom got diagnosed with cancer when you were 6. My mom just got diagnosed with cancer and was given 10 months to live. And so it's like, I want to engage with her, but she has very poor mindsets right now. And I want to come and be fully happy and put my happy on her, or help her with her mindset, but I don't know how.
Great intent and beautiful. I believe that I'd run right into that free week, because I have a lesson on the Love and Relationships course about are you feeling more like, is your happiness dependent more on whether or not their unhappiness gets like settled? And it's like a bit of, you know, how can I be happy and be the rock of support for her or my family or even anyone around me, to see that like her happiness would be nice, but it's not conditional on my own. And then, you know, what I have found that a lot of people do, especially big-hearted givers, which many of you are, you would be more likely to sacrifice your own happiness or allow someone to like suck it away. And really, no one can take your happiness, honestly, without your consent or participation in that. And I'm not to, again, say that that's not hard. You know what, like, what's hard? Like, because sometimes people say that even with like kids. I'm like, no, it's harder to see one of my 3 sons be unhappy and then me still be happy. It could feel greedy. But then if I'm unhappy because he's unhappy, I'm literally reflecting the same energy back, which is, you're not like, now my happiness is conditional on your happiness, which does not help him. It just meets him where he's at. And it's the same thing with your mom. If you know, when you learn in the dream life course, I have this like house of manifesting tool. And when you learn that you're taking the elevator ride down to like her unhappy floor versus you staying on your happy floor, and you realize like you rode the elevator down and now you think she's taking it away, but you're letting your happiness be conditional on someone or something outside of you. So what you have to do is you need to do the happiness lesson. So in that course on relationships, you will see I built like an incredible library. There's like tens of thousands of dollars worth of content in here. It's actually insane. This manifesting, like these, I mean, once you're inside, you could post me a Q&A and I could just like point you to the lesson, but you want to work on boundaries with your happiness. You want to, I mean, there's just a lot of good stuff here, but this one is describing exactly what you were asking, which is, how do I not have my happiness conditional on someone's unhappiness?
Yeah. And
that I give you a very step-by-step way, but that's actually just where you're at, because you don't have to you will rise into being strong. Happiness from like love is strength. So when you are like, I'm going to be strong and loving no matter what, like literally, that's how I walk around the planet now. That took practice. Like, I'm going to be strong and loving no matter what. That gets challenged. Can you hold that? And you can. And you will feel so empowered by it. And you will give your family the greatest gift, which is not only a rock of stability and support, but you'll give them the example of not needing an external to shift in order to be happy. And you might heal like a lot of generational things in that moment, because you're actually like the one carving the path for your family. Yeah, you got this, Allie. Do those lessons. Jump right in, do those lessons, and go right into the Love and Relationships course.
Thank you. Thank you for your tools too.
Yeah, you guys, that's the checkout. Check it out for a week. If you don't want to do it for your like church membership or whatever, just check it out.
All right. Thanks, Allie. And that's such a great point. It's like someone sick coming to a healthy doctor, and then the doctor's like, oh, well, I got to take on your sickness before I can cure you. No, you don't. Like, no, it doesn't help anybody for the doctor to get sick. Or it's like someone who's poisoned coming to the doctor. The doctor's like, yo, I'll take the poison too, and then we'll figure it out. No, like, doctor, stay healthy, bro.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's my work as a mindset coach. I'm like, I'm not a therapist. I have a lot of therapists and coaches in my programs, but I am not here to go back and unpack anything that got you here. I'm here for now moving forward with tools, with mindset tools that like can help. Like, I'm here to show you the path out, like regardless of what got you in. And that's refreshing for people, because I don't even need to know. I don't need to meet you there to hold the space of trust that you might feel down here, but I'm going to see you up here.
Love it. All right. Next up, we got Indira. Indira, welcome up.
Hi, Indira.
Can you hear me? Hello.
I can, somewhat, a little bit. Can you be talking louder?
Is it better now?
Yes.
Hello. So first of all, I love your aura. I really enjoyed the call. And I'm struggling because I try to open a business to do good for people, which is all I want to do. But I feel like it's not possible for me, because all my life, everyone around me has been hating on people with money So everyone talked down on them, and because they were jealous, and that like my family never had much. And I'm the first one to go for the really big things in life. And I'm really afraid that if I become successful, everyone will think the same thing, and like that my family will abandon me. But I know they won't. But I've been in this environment of like small minds and positive thinking for like all my life, and I don't know how to get out of it.
Well, the good news is you're aware of it, right? So you're like, once you know, like the most important things, because a lot of times people don't know their blocks. And then they just keep living in the same like rerun over and over and over again. The good news is here, like once you're aware of your blocks, it's how do I work through these, Laura? And I could tell from the moment you started talking, I was like, I wonder, you have like a beautiful, soft like energy and love about you that you're just like, but I'm like, I wonder how well she speaks her truth. I wonder like when, you know, how she steps up in courage. I wonder how, you know, she puts her needs, maybe not first on the list, but somewhere at the top. Because if they're down here, like if your own needs are not being spoken, not only will they not be met, but you're going to attract the people who are meeting you then down here. Once you learn to work through this block and put your needs higher on your list, at least at the top 1, 2, or 3, and express those needs differently, I think you'll stop hearing the judgment as much and the noise. It's like the old sweater thing. I think like, I feel like you're the path carver again. You're the light, you got the torch of light in your hand, and you're the one who is like getting it dished for your generation to create the change. They could have created the change before you. They didn't. They told you what they believed based on whatever environments they were raised in. And at some point, as a human being, you recognize, I don't want to subscribe to that. But if it's activating a negative in me, that's my work. Because I don't need to change their behaviors. I don't need to make them stop saying what they're saying, or then your power goes out the door. And it's then you're waiting for them to change for you to feel better. So what you want to do is you want to work on, I mean, again, I would just run right into, I have literally a step-by-step in the Unstuck Your Blocks on exactly what you're describing. I mean, first you could create the new relationship with change, but motivation to inspiration is so key. You can use them as a negative motivation. You can use them as a stepping stone of like, and then shift it into inspiration of what feels true in your heart. You can turn down the judgment. So you're not allowing them to activate the judgment that then you're feeling as the judgment that's active in you, the insecurities and doubts that are active in you. And it's rightfully so that they're active because they came to you and they were told to you over and over and over again until they became a belief that you had, but you're choosing to not have anymore. So now it's you versus you duking it out. And this lesson alone is worth jumping in for if any of you are receiving lots of judgment, because you learn the 4 steps of how to handle judgment from others, and you learn the 3 steps of how to handle it when it's coming from you, your own insecurity that's been lit up because of theirs. So if you want to carve through that, you'll just go through this, like the old labels and limiting beliefs. Like there's just, again, they're like quick 20 minutes, you know, how to break through using my creative power, like how to shift all these things. And each lesson is not philosophy. Actually, today's workshop was not tool based, and it was actually, it's everything I teach is like, take out a piece of paper, write this, do that, flip this, you know, it's tool based. So with each of those lessons, you'll get how to's, because you're really ready to break through using your creative potential. You're really ready to create a different trajectory for your family. And that's exciting. That's exciting. You'll be the one that rises above and activates like for the next generations or your community or the impact that you want to make with your business. And if it will have a direct impact on the people you impact.
Okay, thank you so much.
Good job. Yeah, you're ready for the steps. I know it's like when people like learn my content and then they actually do the lessons, they're like, I never knew this, like the actual how-tos of what to say, what to do, how to retrain your thoughts. Like that's what took me, you know, the last 10, 20 years to build out all this stuff. It's there. Use it. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Alrighty, thanks for coming up, Indira. Next up, we got my man Kezo. What's good, Kezo?
Hello, hello.
Hi.
Nice to meet you, Laura. I didn't get in the very beginning of everything, but I love what you're saying about just the self-doubt and the money, how the connection is. It really was very deep to hear that. Just quick background question. So I'm planning to make a podcast that's based off asking one powerful question per episode, just to help you kind of get creatively unstuck and kind of break out of that autopilot mindset that we kind of tend to go on as either creatives or entrepreneurs. I just wanted to ask a question. If I've got it written down here. It sounds like a place where like, people stuck in a loop or like doubt, delay, or overthinking. What's a question that I could ask, or anyone could ask, that they could ask their future self that will give them a mindset shift?
I mean, I've got really deep lessons on how to tap into your future self and what messages you would receive. I feel like everyone would receive different things based on how they perceive trust. I do this 100-year-old self lesson. I actually, I just hosted a leadership retreat in Nashville, and I made like, I mean, it's hilarious. You can see it on my TikTok, but I just had people like dress up in white wigs. I got like old scrolls. Like we did a party as if we were our 100-year-old selves. And it was incredible because my whole 3 days lined into like, how do you define your decades? What's important to your heart through your decades? How do you expand your thinking? And how do you live a life of no regret? On your terms, success on your terms. So, you know, some of what I'm saying right now might lend itself to the questions that you might want to ask, but the curriculum and content that I built to how do you expand into that version of you, and trust, which is everything I'm here for. How do you be happy? How do you become confident where you're understanding your boundaries, your truths, like speaking them, and then how do you really align up into unconditional abundance and trust? That version of you, I consult with my 104-year-old self. Like I'm like her. I connect with my future self because of my tools, and I make decisions from that version of me a lot, because the current me that might be like hit up against something, and that's why I said stuck, is just your inability to see past your current struggle. For me, my 104-year-old self or your 100-year-old self would see things. Your future self has a very different perspective, because time does not heal, experience heals, because experience shifts perspective. And so if I can help people, which is what I do, shift your perspective faster, I can do it in less time. And that's the beauty of my work, is like I ultimately teach people how to align to the perspective of their trusting self. And I trick your brain, which is what you're talking about, to believe it's your future self. Because your brain wants to make it linear, and your brain's like, but let me give you evidence this is not who you are today, right? But your heart knows every version of you is inside you right now. Every version of you, the most successful version of you, the trusting version of you, every version of you is inside your heart right now. What are you practicing? So I do a lot around future self stuff. But you got to bring your future self energy into right now, or you're always going to make, again, everything like what I talked about earlier. It'll feel like a wall between where you are today and where you wish to be. Your goals will feel like a dream. So I don't know if that all answers your question, but my whole thing is it's a very, very like I create the architecture for that future self stuff that you're talking about, and then you insert your life content into my like open-ended framework, because otherwise people will gladly tell you what they think success on their terms is like, or what you should be doing, right? And at the end of the day, I wanted to help people tap into their future self, because I'm like, oh, some people want to start a nonprofit for cats, and some people want a barn full of Porsches, and some people like whatever lights people up, right? Who am I to judge? Who am I to judge? So that future self energy is really powerful, and I'm glad you're going in that direction. I hope I've given you a little nuggets of wisdom of where you might like go with that. But the ultimate, the ultimate is bring that version of you to the table today, and that's how I train people on how to get there faster. Like I teach people how to manifest way faster. How? Like to me, it's because again, all the paths exist to your future self. If you're not lining up to them and you keep creating resistance, you're your biggest roadblock. So how do you become that version and identity now? And it goes beyond just acting as if, because usually people just start to act as if the moment they got the manifestation, and then they lose it. It's like you lose the weight, you gain the weight, you get the boyfriend or girlfriend, you lose the relationship, you get the money, you lose the money. It's like what I teach on is the space beyond it, from your future self, beyond the manifestation. And that's what has like people like not getting, like how does a gymnast, become number one, like paid athlete? Like you gotta not just get to the goal. So I hope this helps a bit. It's a space that I go into that's way beyond it, and that version of you exists.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Thank you.
I'm excited. Let me know when, like, I'm excited to hear it. All right, I could do. Oh, can you guys jump in an hour? Like I'm gonna host because this is for my own community, but you're all welcome to join in. I gotta go honor my own happiness. I can do one more question, but I have this in about an hour. So jump on into that, just RSVP, and I'll answer a few more questions, and you'll get to meet some of the people perhaps in my community. So I guess, yeah.
Great. So we'll take one more question. Let's have Mr. Felipe come up. Felipe.
Hi. Hey, can you hear me well?
Yes.
Hello, nice to meet you. Great things you have said so far. It's amazing. I wanted to ask you, like, how to balance that I want this and that with those short-term decisions that do require I want this or that, without falling into that not enough mindset.
Yeah. Again, if you're in my courses, and this is just, I have content on all these with all steps. I have a no excuses course that helps you shift. An excuse is just the verbal expression of your block. So when you're in the or energy of it's this or that, and you're expressing that out, whether it's in your head or it's coming out of your mouth as a spoken thought out loud, you're sharing your block. Like it's this or this feels conditional, this feels, and it becomes kind of like an excuse, a valid one. It's your reality, but it doesn't, when you're a realist and you're not seeing past your current reality, you'll stay stuck, right? So the goal is to look at reality and see the conditions that are in front of you. And then like in the no excuses course that I have, it teaches you how to shift it's this or that, like, oh, because I really wanted all this, but I can't because, and it's like usually I call it the big but, which is whatever reasoning, which is like, because I can't, because, but like this pays the bills, but blah, 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 blah. And then I train you on how to change. And this is again, like the practicality of the lessons is always like with a tool. I give you a framework, how to change the but to a so. So you're like, it's this or that, like, I really want this, but I can't because all that. And then you shift it to go into action towards a solution. And I train you how to use a very special word called so, which is then you take the power back in your hands and you're like, so I'm choosing to do this because this is the direction where you're going. And I train you on how to create a new thought, like wiring of the process that goes from blocked to unblocked. It's still the same thing where you're choosing this thing that you have to choose right now but it's a very different energy when you learn this framework and you like use little words like so, where you're seeing how it's putting you in a direction towards where you want to be going. And it's very empowering. So if this is you and this is other people here that are like, oh, I'm stuck in all this stuff, go right into you'll see it's called no excuses or how to nip excuses. And it'll give you the different frameworks of thought. And all these things like just took me years. Everything that you see inside my content was literally years of working with thousands of people. Like I just built, I never woke up one day and was like, I'm gonna be mindset coach. I was just like coaching my knees and then coaching. So it was like everything that came out of even the no excuses course. I noticed like when we own gyms and people were like, I want this, but it's this or this. I can't possibly have this and this. And I was like, I need to build a course on this. So everything that you see inside that has the frameworks and the words that you start rewriting the thoughts, you will feel like you're not stuck behind that, anymore. It's huge. It's not conditional. Your greatest gift is going to be when you expand your thinking. And I can like see this and that, and I can see how I'm choosing this. And it's the perfect choice for me right now because this again is where I'm going. So I'm going to do this next. And boom, you're in a different energy.
That's a great tip. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good ending. So I might, like not do the mindset coaching, but I don't know that. Like, where are your excuses holding you back? Anyone from doing anything? Like everything's available to you. So, excuses, again, they're just verbal expressions of what your blocks are. And now that hopefully some of this brought up, like, what are your blocks? I have a whole course on unstocking blocks, but as you go through the 6-week architecture, you're going to start to learn, like, truly what's under the block. It's way deeper than that. This block is probably not a new thing you felt just today. This block is probably, if it's bringing up never enough or self-doubt or everything's conditional, everything's power struggle, it's probably not new. And that's why this mindset work is so extraordinary, because you're like, I unlocked it here and now I unlocked it there. And it's like everything can level up as you level up.
Awesome. Guys, that was an incredible session. Laura, thank you so much for your time and for the wisdom and for helping us all out with our mindsets. If you want to repost both of those links again right now, and is there any way that we can support you aside from that, Laura, like social media following or anything?
Oh, please, yes. I mean, I'd love to talk to you all in School of Mentors. Definitely follow me on, I'll just share my Instagram. I post quotes pretty much every day on Instagram. And actually with someone here in the community that posted the other day, like, what are you being consistent at? That was like, that prompted me to really step up, like, and be consistent in I put like daily quotes up there. I have a lot of creative fun on TikTok. You get the behind the scenes Laura, which is really hilarious. I don't hold back, you guys. Like I'm here to give tips and wisdom based on my own experiences, but the frameworks I've built and the lessons that are in there are absolutely life-changing. Like my membership packages are incredible if you feel like I'm the coach to you. If you don't, like, it's not a big deal. Like I really believe that those of you who know you're meant to hear some of these messages know that you're meant to hear them.
Yes. Sorry, so many people are messaging me at the same time.
Yeah, so let me put in, if you guys do want to do the free week, this is not available anywhere. Like it's called School of Mentors free week. I like made a pricing option for this week. So as this video gets posted, Kai, I can send this to you. And we can, I don't really, I don't sell my stuff in the in the community. I'm a participant in the community. I always imagine that if people really want to be a member in my program, they'll seek it out and find my stuff. So it's there. If you guys want the lessons, they will absolutely shift you. You'll be different in under a week, and then you can choose to continue if you're like actually doing the work. If you don't do the work, I'm just always saying, like, it's like push-ups. You don't want to just learn mindset. You can't just like learn the tools and then not practice the tools. I do 3 lives a week with my communities. I do a lesson every Tuesday. I do a welcome and wins every Wednesday, and I do a live Q&A every Thursday because I show up because I'm a student of my work and I'm a teacher of my work, and I'm not above or below anyone. I've been on this path. I've mastered a lot of these skills in terms of practicing them, and so I have a lot of tips to share based on not just my own journey, but the thousands of people I've been able to coach globally, and kids to adults, every walk of life, every background. Like, use your mindset to change your results. It is the one like factor that is the most life-changing, I believe.
I agree completely. And guys, one thing that I thought that we could do to help Laura out too is feel free to DM Laura on school and give her a review of this session. Like, just say, I just attended Laura's mental money blocks workshop and and Laura, feel free to use these reviews later on for whatever. Guys, I think this is a cool way that we can support Laura. She's a fellow member as well. So thank you so much. And I'm going to close my stuff off right there. Laura, do you have any last remarks for everyone here?
No, I mean, my last remark is like, trust you're exactly where you're meant to be in this precise moment, always, even if it's the opposite of what you desire. So just know that you are exactly where you're meant to be, and you trust that you can change, that no matter what you're up against, even if you're your own biggest naysayer or there's naysayers all around you, you have the ability to see past it all and create a new result. And I'm happy to help you get there faster if you want to learn those lessons and practices. It doesn't take a lot. It's 5 minutes here, 2 minutes there. So like, really make it simpler than maybe you're making it right now. So thank you, Kai. Thank you, school mentors. Thanks to all the community here. I can't wait to chit chat with you. I also will now go through school mentors, like the Q&A that people posted prior to the event to make sure, like, I think I covered it all in like there, but if I didn't, I'll be definitely like answering comments and stuff right inside school mentors. I think that's super fun.
All right, thank you, Laura.
Thank
I'm going to
you.
ask everyone to unmute. Go ahead and say thank you. And then Laura.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you,
Laura.
Laura.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank
Thank you.
You're the best.
Oh, received. Thank you. All my little souls received. Thank you.
Bye, Laura.
You're the
Thank you
best.
so much.
Laura. Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody. You're
Bye,
the
guys.
best too. Thank you so much. Thanks, Kai. You're the best too. I'm reflecting it all back out to you. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Alrighty. Cool. Guys, that was a phenomenal session. Laura is amazing. The week trial is probably valid for a week. That's my guess. Laura put up another offer last time she came on, and I think that lasted for about a week. So yeah. Yeah, for those who don't know me, my name is Kai, or Yuan Yufeng. That's my Chinese name. Use whatever you want. Made in China. I'm your head of community here. It's very nice to meet everybody, and that was a phenomenal session. A lot of it is mindset. Like Laura said, it's all mindset. Joshua Chris, who came on, said it's 99% mindset, 1% skill set. So millionaire after millionaire, they've highlighted the importance of mindset in this game, and I will reiterate it. I think it's also essential. So that was a great session. Generally, we do like a bit of a recap after, and I'm happy to host that for maybe 15 to 20 minutes, and then I gotta go take care of myself as well. But if anyone has any big takeaways from this session with Laura, things that you're really gonna carry forward with you in life, and implement in your own life, any big mindset shifts, feel free to raise your hand and come up and recap with the community. And I'm gonna keep it very strict today. I'm off at 4:20. Yeah, all right, Melody. There you go.
Hi. So I just wrote down 2 things. It's a happy list or happy concept list. And well, I think it's easy to make. I mean, a list, it's easy to make, but that would bring a big impact in our life. So maybe we could learn to snack on happiness. I think it's easy to do, and that would bring us to a whole different world when we're in a happy, aligned mental state. I want to do that. And then the second thing is about trust bucket. I don't really know about the details, but a trust bucket probably is something I have no idea, but I'm gonna Google that. Trust bucket. Okay, that's the 2 things I take away from today. Thank you, Kai. It's a great session.
Thank you, Melody. And yeah, one thing that Laura said that really stuck with me is she said, I snack on happiness 6 times a day. I love that. I was like, that is phenomenal. You know, we all should be snacking on happiness 6 times a day or more. I'm gonna remove all these spotlights. Actually, everyone can just chime in whenever you want. No need to raise your hand or anything. Just start speaking. Okay. I'd get fat, bro. Fat on happiness. Nothing wrong with that. As long as it's happiness obesity and not real obesity. Yeah, Nana, Kezo, Ashan, Elzenvo.
Yeah, guys. Yeah, so I think it was a great one today from Laura. And just as Kai said, it all boils down to mindset. See, mindset is so powerful. Like, it gives you that direction as to where you're actually going. So I think the main thing we should just focus on is to have a positive mindset and trust in ourselves, right? And our goals. And one step at a time, we will actually achieve what we want to achieve.
Yeah, bro. I agree 100%. And something that I've been doing, I'm notorious for using mantras all the time. Like all the time. My head is always full of like one step at a time. Like, as you said, one thing at a time. Every little bit counts. Gratitude. And one mantra that I've been deploying for the past month is just, I follow my heart. I follow my heart. I've just been saying that to myself nonstop. And following the heart, if you think about it, the heart is literally the physical engine of the body that's keeping it going, right? When your heartbeat stops, you're done. So for me, following my heart is like investing and trusting in my engine. And for me, it's how I'm learning to trust myself at the highest and deepest possible levels. So it was cool that Laura kind of tapped into the trust aspect of manifestation. And I think following the heart is such a nice, like, minimalistic solution that you can always just say, like, you know, I'm just gonna follow my heart. And as you do it, like I become more courageous. I become more trusting in myself and the universe. Even today, I was like, yo, if I follow my heart and I make a mistake, at least it's my mistake and not a mistake that I made based on surrendering my power to somebody else and outsourcing the decision. So yeah, overall, I love the session today, bro. And I thought it was phenomenal. But yeah, Kezo, what's good?
Yeah, it was very powerful today. I like what you said about like, the future self. I know a lot of times you get told, okay, act like you're there already, but I like how more actionable it was. It wasn't just, okay, imagine that you're in this space. It's about what would you do while you're there, not having the result, but like what is the life, what does that future self person say, believe, and do? Because if you're doing that, then it's going to happen. Like if you want even if you take the opportunity to get there, you have to develop yourself to be in a position. So if you're really developing yourself now, then the position is going to be a lot easier to get to because you're already doing what's required, not only to get there, but to stay there. So that's what I took from what she was saying. And even Kai, we said earlier, said about millionaire after millionaire, talk about mindset. Like it can sound very cliche, but sometimes we can get you over the head by it with a lot of content online or books you read. But when it does come down to it, it really, really is a mindset of challenging what you can't see at the very moment versus what you want to see and how you want to get it. So I think it's powerful to have someone break it down in such a way and being so giving as well. Again, back to you, Kai, about the Go Giver book that you told me about. That's such a way of I'm seeing it through the multiple people that show up every week. There's such a giving of an overflow and just continuously share. And I think that's if multiple people who are millionaires or striving to be millionaires are doing that, then that's what it's going to take for us to remain in that space because we're offering and serving value. So yeah, that's a lot of things, but I picked up a lot from this one. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, bro, I'm super happy to hear that. And yeah, I think Brian Tracy might have said something like, become a millionaire, not for the million, but for who it will make of you to make that million. And I really liked what Laura said too. It's like, and as you said, it's because so many people get to the goal and then they fall off. They get the girlfriend, they lose the girlfriend, they make the money, they lose the money. And it's because they haven't built an identity and cultivated themselves to be able to maintain that frequency. Anyone can hit a high note, but who can hold that high note, you know? So it's pretty interesting. And yeah, I think identity is such a powerful thing. I had a thought too. It's like connecting with that 100-year-old self, or connecting with, for me, what came up in the moment was like, let me connect with me on my last breath. And what's cool about that is if you connect with you on your last breath and you breathe as that person, like you can literally energetically connect with them through the breath every single moment. So it's a very powerful way of bringing that reality of satisfied, uniform or Kai on my deathbed when I've accomplished everything that I wanted to accomplish and everything went the way that I wanted it to go, and bringing that energy into the present moment. So little hack that I came up with in the moment that I thought I'd share with you guys. But yeah, Shadab, you got anything? Ishan, Timothy, Kels, Angvo, you got anything? Now or never? Oh, sorry, I got to unmute everybody, huh?
Yeah. It's so good to be here. And it's just been a few days. Like it's probably my third day here. And just a short introduction. I'm from India and I'm awake since 1:30 a.m. to attend all this.
Good man.
Yeah. So I feel happy sharing it. And the session with Laura was really, really amazing. And she's very true about all these blocks we have. Like I have it, and I don't know if anyone else have it. And it's very necessary to address it. And I guess the best thing about it is to just be aware that yeah, there's other blocks and we should be aware about it and start working. Like not to be hampered or brought down by it. That's all I want to say.
I love that, man. And on that, Laura did say that being stuck is just the inability to see past the current situation. But if we become aware of these blockages and we become aware that there are solutions, then immediately we can see beyond the current situation, and now we're unstuck. So I love that, bro.
Same here.
And welcome in.
Cheers.
I hope you're enjoying it.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely.
Let's go.
Yo, what's up?
Yo.
Yo, so like, I was gonna ask you. So like, you said you're the head of community. So I hear my dog barking. My bad.
No, you're good.
Now, so like, tell me a little bit about yourself. Like, are you like, how old are you?
Take a guess.
I mean, man, Asians don't age. I would say like, I can't tell. I gotta say like 22.
I'm 30, bro.
Are you serious?
I'm 30.
That's crazy. I thought you were like my age. I'm 20.
No, I'm 30. Asian don't raise them, baby. Let's go.
So what's kind of like your goals? Like, what are you doing? Like, what's your long-term vision?
Yeah, it's a good question. So in this community full of Christians, I have high respect for Christianity, but I'm actually a Buddhist practitioner. And my big goals are, one, I want to become a professor of Buddhism. I think it'd be really cool to get a PhD in Buddhism. And my biggest dream right now is called billions of Buddhas. Billions of Buddhas. So think of how much good one Buddha did for the world. I know, and like Buddhism teaches, that everybody has an inherent Buddha nature within them. That part of them that is peaceful, that is compassionate, that is understanding, that is wise. And I want to help everybody attain that inner peace and awaken that inner Buddha. So that's my big overarching goal.
So it's not so much as like trying to convert somebody, it's trying to address that little piece within them to help them, you know, kind of like.
Yes, it's trying to help them access that. I don't need anyone to become a Buddhist. I just want to help you tap into that inner peace.
That's pretty cool.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, I'm just trying to like figure out what I really even want to do, because I have like so many like different things that I want to do, except when I like start doing one of them, after a while I kind of fall off. I'm like, I don't really want to do this, but it happens with like everything. So it's like it's hard to figure out where you're trying to go. You know what I mean? Especially because I go to Rutgers, which is in Jersey,
Yeah.
and I kind of like I took business as my major, right? I was like, all right, this is pretty cool, whatever. And I found out I kind of like hate what they're teaching in like finance and whatever, and they're like just pretty much teaching you how to be a bot. Or if like the useful stuff that I learned, I mean, it's useful, but it's not immediately applicable. So it feels kind of like, okay, like what do I do with this?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I have 1 year left. So I got like that 1 year left to figure out where I'm gonna go or what I'm gonna do. Because it feels like a race against time. Like it feels like, okay, right now I'm in college, I can like do something on the side, figure it out. But when I'm out, although I don't have to go and immediately like work for a corporate company or a job or this or that, it just feels like there's just like something at the end of the 4 years that I have to have figured out, or like what am I gonna be doing? Which is like,
yeah, I hear you, man. Well, one thing I'll say is like Gary Vee, he always says this. Like I don't think he says you're not lost, you're just early in the process. And like, dude, like life is a whole long process. Like, hey, who here after college has pivoted? I pivoted. If you pivoted after college, raise your hand. Like you do one thing and you've changed it to something else. Is it just me? Like, am I the only person that's okay?
nah, I got an example for you, dude. My dad got a degree in zoology. That was like years ago, and then he started coding with zeros and ones, and now he's like a CTO at like this company, and he's like all about coding. Like that's his life. Like he loves it. And he got a degree working on animals. So like, yeah, I don't know.
Bro, like honestly, like I like the urgency. It's good to move with speed in life. That is a good thing. That's gonna help you succeed. But like, there's no need to finalize yourself, bro. Like, there's no need. Like anyone that's telling you have to like know exactly what you're doing, like you don't, dude. Like for me, I had the same exact thing, dude. I would start this thing, I would stop it. I would start this thing, I would stop it. I would start, and like what really happened, what I realized was I was listening to my mind and like just following different ideas that sounded interesting to my head, but I wasn't necessarily following my heart, dude. And when I started following my heart, that's when the path became way more consistent. The direction started moving in one clear, solid direction. And like, although I don't know exactly what I want to do exactly, like the direction becomes clearer and clearer when you follow your heart. And I think when you follow your heart, you don't have to finalize yourself. Every day is a new exciting adventure. But like the heart is obviously moving in a direction. If you start tapping into your heart, like get out of your head and get into your heart, and you can literally use the mantra, I follow my heart, and just keep saying it. And like the energy of your heart is going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. And you're going to find yourself doing the things that you truly want to do and not chasing different fads or fun ideas. At least that's been my experience. So I thought I'd share that with you. Just one man's take, but that's my take.
No, it's pretty definitely pretty useful, man. If anybody else wants to come up, then you know, we'll let them take the spot. Because I can keep the conversation going a while.
Can I add something?
Yeah, Halima, go ahead.
How are you, Kai?
Chilling.
you know what, I haven't been able to join the last session, but there was a few sessions before that, and you were not there, Kai. And although everyone was great, it was really good. But having you, Athen, if I said it correctly, sorry, it's late. You guys have a great synergy, and same with the other gentleman. I've forgotten his name. I'm so sorry. The new gentleman who came in, he was so amazing. But you all did. You by all of you being there on the same call afterwards, like now. Look at Athen. He's already in there, chiming in, generally even in the background. I'm just giving you feedback. I'm just giving you basic feedback. By your energy being here, whatever that peaceful feeling or vibe is, it's all vibing with everybody else. It makes a massive difference. It keeps things going. And certain things in time, I'm sure many people are going to feel this later, that at certain times you're going to have this conversation from this point on, coming back to you about a certain piece of advice that was given. So look at Ishan and him pivoting. But Kai, whatever you said about the heart, it took me years before I got there to follow the heart. And everybody, the heart has its own brain. Personally, I feel the gut and the heart have a brain of their own. Obviously, we have a brain, but the gut and the heart, every time I followed my gut, it always worked. And when I mean always, majority of the time, the heart, I would definitely say the same thing. And the brain, it tends to talk a lot in your head. You have so many thoughts, but the heart tends to tell the truth. And I tend to follow that personally. And it's interesting how I'm hearing everybody else, you all say that. So I think it's brilliant. Kai, Athen, and the rest of you guys, the main community leaders in the after talks, it's always really key to have you there. That's my basic feedback, by the way, just because, I don't know, did you go on holiday? You were missed.
Hey, I appreciate you, Halima. Yeah, I took about an 18-day holiday where I went back to China, just like soaked in my mother tongue, relearned the
Wow.
language, and I needed it because
Amazing.
the first 6 months of School of Mentors, it was just me doing everything. Like it was a lot, honestly. And then thank God we brought Athen on and we brought Michael on, and then I took a much deserved, much needed vacation.
We didn't know you're burning out, but it's good to go out and you're teaching us that. Get yourself fill your own cup before you
Yes.
can give anything more to anybody else. I totally get that. I understand, respect it. We're just saying you were missed. That's all.
I appreciate you, Halima. Thank you. It does mean a lot.
And let us know when you're back in London.
I will. One thing I realized, guys, and I will confess this to all of you guys, like one thing that I didn't realize that was draining for me, but I realized was a bit draining, is actually communicating in English. Like I didn't realize that was draining for me. I'm one of the best communicators in the world, and I mean that humbly. But like I'm a good communicator, but still, it was draining for me because I came from China at age 6, and they just chopped off my mother tongue, gone, my identity too. They changed my name to something else, and like I learned English in such a high stress environment that when I heard certain tonalities, it made me nervous and it made me anxious. It made me like kind of clench up in my body, which led to a lack of breath. When I don't breathe, I can't renew my energy. So that's something that I'm working on rewiring. I'm going through stuff myself, you guys, but like it's getting a lot better. Every day my relationship with English is better. I feel safer using English. But relearning Chinese is what has allowed me to feel rerooted again with myself, with that 0 to 6 aged Kai or Yuan Yufeng. So like I'm doing my own thing too, guys. We're all rewiring stuff. So yeah, but I'm just letting you know because that is why I needed some time off. Just like the sheer amount of communication was quite a lot, and being in that Chinese environment was super good for me. So yeah.
Don't get me wrong, everyone needs a holiday, and you definitely needed that break. Totally agree. I'm glad. I'm happy for you. We just missed you. That was it.
Hey, I miss you guys too. I miss you all too. Truly, seriously. I want to keep giving. I just have to make sure to fill my own cup too, so that I still have energy and I'm not pouring to emptiness, because that's not a good place to be. I want to keep pouring into myself, keep snacking on happiness, so that it overflows. Yeah, I think a good concept for living life is like an overflowing cup or a fountain, right? If I take this cup, this is my cup of love. Let's say it's full. I keep pouring, and I'd say probably 30 to 40% of people really understand reciprocity, so they'll pour back into my own cup. But if I'm always giving 100%, I'm receiving at 30%. I'm going to be empty quickly.
100%.
But if I continuously pour into my own cup and then my cup is full, and then I keep pouring, what happens, everybody? It starts overflowing, right? So I'm giving from a place of abundance, and I'm still full. So this is the best way to love with longevity. The best way to love with longevity is to continue to pour into yourself and until it overflows, and then you're just giving naturally from a place of abundance, and you can sustain it. So that's what I'm learning to do right now by like pouring into myself in Chinese. One thing that helped too is people calling me by my Chinese name. So if you want to adopt that, I would appreciate that. If you want to try, it's Yuan Yufeng.
Yuan Yufeng.
Yeah, or you can call me Yuan or Yufeng, whatever works. If it's still too for you, Kai, double it up. Kai, that was my Chinese nickname. That'll work too. So
Kai, that's good.
Yes. So I appreciate you, Halima. Thank you. Feels good to know that I was missed, and I'm back. I might be moving back to China soon though, so you guys might get me for the night shift.
Wow. You do you.
I'm doing me.
Kevin's got a massive smile on his face. Just by listening to you, by the way. You can just see everyone's reactions, even Isha. They're just all smiling. You need to do you and be happy to be able to give. I totally see that. I understand that.
Yes, because I gave without knowing that my cup was being drained.
It happens. I've learned that lesson years ago, and I've had to just recently take a step back. Hence why I'm talking, but I'm more listening, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Let's keep it open though, guys. Kezo, Claynor. I tried to be strict with the time, 4:20. It's already past 4:20. We might as well just keep going for a little bit, but go ahead. Claynor, Kezo, Athen.
Sorry, I didn't know I was up. Anyways, good to see everybody. I just wanted to share. You mentioned like I'm on my way home. Like following your heart, and I've always followed what I've always wanted to do, and I've actually achieved it, but it never worked out. Never worked out in terms of monetarily, or sometimes you get into the field and you realize like, oh, man, like it's too stressful, and I choose a different field, and then I'll get the certification experience, and then I'll end up leaving again. It's just been after several cycles, you just kind of like, oh, you don't want to do this anymore. So I don't know what to make of it, but I think like I'll just have to choose again, and then hopefully tie everything up. And this whole idea of what Laura was saying of like this time, like you have to make it by this time or your age. I mean, it's kind of like a real deadline. Like you don't want to I don't know, study your masters at 65 or plan your holidays when you're retired. Like you have to live your life as you go, right? So it's kind of like a balance of like reality at the same time, um, your expectations, So anyways, so that's those are kind of like the unanswered questions that I have on her speech. Um, it's I get the theory of it, but to actually practice it, you do have to take into consideration like the timeline, the what do you do if you get what you want and you're not happy with it? Well, just have to keep looking, I guess, right? So anyways, that's just what I wanted to share, and I don't know how you guys deal with it, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I'd like to share something with that regarding this specific method that you just said. Like Laura put one thing in front, and she kept coming back to that point that if you have a decision to make, whether or not you can have either both or one of them, one of each, the or and the and. If you look at that problem that constantly comes back in any kind of situation, if you think you're not enough, then you have a lacking attitude, that mentality that's going to make every time over and over again yourself coming into a loop. And she literally put forward that if you have that mentality, if you see those things around you coming back, that means something in mentality is lacking, or something in mentality creates lack, which is one of the points that I really took from this whole session, because it really arrived also because Kezo asked that question and she was talking about specifically this thing, that the mindset itself creates your environment. That if you look at your bank account, you actually see, well, not specifically your bank account, but just the way you have everything ordered in your life. If you look around, you can see your own attitude, which really struck, because I was like, yeah, that's basically, if you look at somebody's attitude or mentality, specifically the core essence of how you think and where your beliefs come from and how they are justified, that makes your attitude towards outside environmental objects, situations, relations happen. So therefore, I think what you now just said, I think she has something that might be really interesting on that specific matter in her lessons, for she kept bringing this up and up again. So I now hear this, I hear you say this, I'm like, yeah, but this is actually the thing she was trying to say, I believe. This is my takeaway, of course, this is my opinion. Doesn't mean it's like that. But it seems there is something in there, that if you have something and you see a wall, that specifically there is a mentality shift possible. Just wanted to share that, because there might be like I've got a few things in my life which I look at, and every time I look at it, I'm like, yeah, but I don't see a solution. I don't yet see a road. And I'm quite a personality that if I don't see the road, I don't go it. If I see the road, I can go it. If I see the way towards it, I'm okay. It can be really difficult, and I might not even see the difficult things on the road, but I know I can get there, and that means there is a possibility, so I can take it. And I think that has to do with mentality, because if I don't have that mentality, I will just stop at the first block and be like, yeah, sorry, it's not gonna happen. So I just wanted to share that there might be something interesting to look into. She has a few things specifically on that subject that might be really powerful. Just wanted to share that. I'm gonna ask Claymore to unmute if he wants to respond.
so basically, like you follow what you love and then take the opportunities as they come, and then see what opens up. There's another thing I would like to add too. Is like if you have an either.
Oh, Claymore, your internet's cutting off a bit. Yeah, sorry.
Right. What I learned from previous lectures was you can have everything, just not at the same time, right? And it's also something I noticed with other talks with millionaires. It's like, but you're a workaholic. Well, yeah, I'm a workaholic, but it's a season. So like, there's a season where they just pour themselves at their work until they get the book published or they'll get their side project, released, and then after that they come back to family and raise the kids, and then go back to the next project. So it's like, and it's Laura was mentioning that too, like. When you want something, it's a sacrifice to get that something. I get that, but also at the same time, like when you get that, like you got to fill out all the other sides of the pie so that it's sustainable. What I can't get around is like, okay, I'll explain maybe a little bit. Like I'm an architect by profession, but when I started working, it doesn't pay very well and it's long hours, so I moved. I moved into different fields, and still it doesn't really pay as much because like either circumstance, like I came in on the wrong post. I'm working here on state on visa, so it's like limited options in terms of jobs and business. Whatever reason, right? But okay, fine. Like if I want to do my own business, do the e-commerce, okay, let's give it a try. I'll do the IT certification, let's give that a try, and then see where it goes. But I agree with the other guy was saying, it's like I don't see a way forward, like it doesn't, based on all my research, it doesn't make sense. But I'll do it, but it's just not. I remember the train in my gut. I don't know how it's gonna pan out. Yeah. And it's kind of demotivating because you're certifying in all these exams, but you're not really using it, or don't have the opportunity to use it. So, it is what it is, and see where it leads.
Yeah, Claymore, I appreciate your transparency, with your experience in your situation. I think there's a difference between doing what you love and following your heart. Like I could love something, but I might not want to do it professionally, for that exact reason. Like the pay sucks. For me, like the concept of following the heart is more of an agile thing. Like what the heart desires may change, but generally what I see is like it's moving in one direction. And life's not all about money, but if the money thing is becoming more and more of a priority, then your heart will know that, and I think it'll realign priorities to create opportunities for you to achieve or make the money that you desire. But no, I agree with Kels too. Like I think overall, like we should all take a look at Laura's course. A lot of really good info in there, I think. And yeah, I'm looking forward to working on my mindset too. And I think a lot of the stuff that I'm doing with English too is probably mindset as well. It's just I learned it in such a situation of stress, and confess too, like my stepdad would yell in the home too, and like I didn't even know English then, so it's just this big dude just yelling at me in a foreign language. So it's like scary, like it's super scary. And certain tonalities will sometimes put me back there. But I think if I can master my relationship with English, I can also be effective and still fill my cup in an English speaking environment. So it's something that I'm working on right now. But yeah, I think I'll end it there. I'll let Kezo close us off.
Cool, thank you. A lot of things I try to be quick because there's a lot of people that spoke, but so I think I've been reading this book about it,
Yeah.
and it's about like communication, public speaking, but it does get to the heart of things. And chapter 1, there's a question that says, I think it's Steve Jobs speaking, and it says, "What are you passionate about? What makes your heart sing?" And something that you like that's something that's intensely meaningful when it calls your identity. So even when you were talking about how like you've done architecture, I think again I don't know the situation completely, but I did hear you say that it was like quite demotivating because you're certifying for a lot of things but you're not using it. I think if it's your passion, I'm not trying to make it all cliche, but like, what got you into it? If you go back to the origin story of what made you do it, even if it's just, oh, it's money, like if you can pinpoint why you're in, when you're in this middle phase, if you can able to look back and go, I'm in it for this reason, and where are you now? Are you closer to that reason when you pivoted? I think it makes it a lot easier to center yourself in it rather than getting lost in the weeds and the trees, because when that's happening and you're looking at the certification or the money that you get on hours, that can just weigh on you and kind of like bleed out the passion from, even like what Kai was saying before about how in community where he was giving out from an empty cup, he didn't realize until it became empty and drained. Whereas when he first started in the community for the first 6 months, he was just doing it, enjoying it. By the time he was able to be sent and went back to China, it was deeper than school mentors. It was deeper to the point where it's like, wow, English as a whole has been draining me because of how I was taught it. So he got back to the origin of it to go, right, this is where this is the beginning. So now you can rewrite the story or the page is on within the story. Even as Tels was saying earlier about like the mentality, something in the mentality is show that there's a lack somewhere. So it's working out what it is, doing the work that's not really sexy or enjoyable, but it's meaningful, that you can cut out what's the weed in the forest, in the garden you're trying to create. So I think again when this recording goes out, definitely listen back to it. Definitely use the 7 days that Laura's given us, because I think the benefit for you, would be just working out what is that weed that's getting you. Because I don't want the only story you tell yourself is it's just architecture is a job that doesn't pay, or it's a job that's long hours. Think back to what you really enjoy about it and look at, especially in this community where we're entrepreneurs, we think of so many different ways of providing value and diversifying how we serve. I'm pretty sure if you work out what is taken away from your joy, you go back to the origin story and you look at alternative ways of giving up the value. I think you'll be able to feel better where you are rather than feeling weighed down by the physical reality of what you're seeing. But I'll leave it there. Last thing with that, Kai and Evan, again, just what Lena was saying before, I just want to give you flowers, because even me speaking just now like this wouldn't have happened. You guys knew before, my camera wasn't on, I didn't really speak because I've never been in a community like this before. So you guys really have helped me be where I'm at now, because you was always very encouraging to the community. I remember those times when you'd stay on like an hour, 2 hours late, but speaking after the entire call with Millionaire, and in my time it was like 4 in the morning, and you'd be constantly giving and giving. So I can understand when you're saying about how you was drained, because even on a very small scale, like when I first came to community, I was posting every day, and I got drained. I didn't realize the same thing, where like my cup became empty because I want to give, I want to give, I want to give, but if I'm not pouring back to myself, the cup will get empty and you will just deplete. And I had to take a step away myself and be like, no, it felt like betrayal. Like I'm trying to give value, but if I wasn't topping myself up, then what I'm doing is just giving scraps, and I don't want to give anything that's going to harm others, or even come on a bad day and just be like, you know what I mean? So I'm happy that you've taken the time to recharge. I'm happy you noticed that as well, rather than like burning out. Really continue to do that. Again, Nathan as well. I feel you're truly the dream team, because every time we come into contact with you, we always leave with more confidence, more value, and more belief that we can do this and actually provide the value that we hear about and learn about, because you are 2 people that's actively doing it each call, and you deserve to know that ahead of time. And yeah, take the time you need. And peace.
Thanks, Kezo. We love and appreciate you, and everyone here too. Seriously. I'll let Athen respond to that beautiful remark.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to tap in just to see what you guys are talking about, but I appreciate that, Kezo. That's why I do what I do. I don't expect anything from you guys. I just love helping people. I love transforming you guys to the people that you deserve to be, reaching your fullest potential. A lot of times, growing up, whether it's friends, family, we get brainwashed to think that certain things aren't at our disposal to accomplish, and that's simply not true. Everyone can achieve anything. You just have to work hard for it. And you guys know that phrase, like, "Oh, not everyone's built for this." Okay, if you're not built for it, then you certainly have the potential to be built for it. It's not something that can't be achieved, right? If you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to excel at a certain craft, just work for it. Look at Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant worked day and night on his craft in basketball, and that's how he was able to be one of the best. It's not necessarily his success that he's remembered by, for me at least. It's his discipline, his constant love for the game. I love helping you all find what you love to do and supporting you all the way, giving you that green light to just go. So thank you, Kezo. I'm glad I was able to give you those touch points early on to build your confidence up, to constantly come and show your face, unmute yourself, ask your questions, bring your own value. That's what I love to hear. In the beginning, you were talking about, oh, hey, it's my first time on camera, it's my first time speaking. I don't know. I said, bro, go look at the old mentorship calls where I first joined the community. I was so nervous. I was so uncomfortable with being on camera in front of a large audience. That's because I didn't have confidence in myself. I didn't perform any repetition of public speaking, that I didn't have the tools necessary to be confident. With repetition comes great confidence. You become comfortable being uncomfortable. Let's just say that, right? It's an uncomfortable thing to perform a speech or a presentation in front of a large group, especially online, right? A lot of people have their cameras off. You don't know if what you're saying is touching their hearts. So you get kind of this awkward feeling where, oh, I don't know if they like it or not. But I think one of the hardest things to do is maybe you don't achieve the success that you thought you would have in a certain day, but the next day you're still willing to do the same amount of hard work, even if it means you don't achieve great success. That's called drive. That's called passion. So I appreciate it, Kezo. And thank you for everything that you've helped me with. You've helped me learn a little bit more about you. You dropped some golden nuggets that you've had inside of your mind. And that's helped me grow as a person as well. We're both sharing value. We're both dropping game. And that's what the beauty of life is, our own unique experiences, which makes us our own unique selves and makes us so valuable that AI will never replace us. AI can't replace unique experiences. AI can't replace the human interaction that brings love, joy, positivity, and care.
Ethan, what's your quote, bro? The don't become a
Don't become a clone, become your own.
Hey.
Which means a lot of information is spread around. We see these moguls on the internet. I made the mistake once of taking everything someone has said at face value and automatically applying that into my life. I didn't process it through the filter of my own morals. And because I didn't do that, I became a clone of them and not myself, my own person, within my own personality, within my own traits. I don't want anybody to make that mistake. No matter how much information you take in from Alex Hormozy, from Laura St. John, from everyone else, make sure you process it through your own filter and see what works for you and what doesn't. The main thing that I do whenever I'm having conversations with people is I don't want to take in all the information. I want to take in those key factors that will help me and contribute to my journey in entrepreneurship in life. A lot of things, there's a reason why there's disagreements, and that's the beauty of life. You may not agree with what everybody says. That's why we have so many different cultures, so many different religions. That's uniqueness. That's the beauty of life, is that we don't agree with everything. Because if we agreed with everything, we would be basic. We wouldn't have anything to talk about. I don't know if you've seen, this is a crazy this is a crazy reference, but if you've seen that SpongeBob episode where Squidward goes to that Squidward town where everyone's the same and everyone's normal, he got bored of it because he didn't have the uniqueness of SpongeBob or Patrick, and he left that town. That's what it is. If you're the same person and you talk to another person that's the same version of yourself, there's really going to be no growth. There's that saying, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Why? Because you have no room for growth. You have no room for improvement. There's nothing for you to learn. And when there's nothing for you to learn, you've ended yourself in the space of growth. I make sure I always talk to UN. I make sure I talk to a bunch of different people and I get their takeaways, because maybe one golden nugget is something that will propel me to success exponentially. But yeah, don't become a clone, become your own. You're all beautiful people who have great potential. And I'm looking to learn from you just as much as you're looking to learn from me.
That was a beautiful way to end it right there. Love that.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah. Well, guys, this was a fantastic call. Overall, almost went for 3 hours. So I'm going to go and listen to some Chinese affirmations because it's good for my heart. Got to pour back into myself. Everyone, thank you so much for coming and for staying here, sharing your insights. Gezo, Now or Never, Kels, Timothy, Shadab, Mr. Athen, Lisa, Claynor, Stella, Louise, Chantel, King Konga V2, Jacqueline, Alamayehu, Constantina, Sharifa, shout out to OG, the amazing Miss I, Kingsley, Jaden, Chakisha maybe, Sandra, Jack, Lung, Halima, the OG, Mr. Rahul, Julia, Barath, Ivana, Buki, and Arjun. We appreciate you all deeply. And thank you so much for coming. And we will see you on the next one. Love you guys too. And Ath and I are out. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Alrighty. Keep following your heart. Peace.